this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? So that I counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make those change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just out of doubt the youngs. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? So that I counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make those change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just out of doubt the youngs. It's all you need to do. It's all you need to do. this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second blow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just start to top the notes. It's all you need to do. 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 It's all you need to do.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back. Welcome back to another Good Morning Tottenham, an action-packed Good Morning Tottenham today, as we're going to go through the Chelsea match preview for the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Going to do an opposition preview. We've got some headlines as well to talk about in terms of transfers, and then we're going to get you guys on to have your say on the game tomorrow. But without further ado, let's get into the match preview for tomorrow night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 7:45 kickoff. 2-0 down from the first leg in a very lacklustre display at Stamford Bridge. I was there that night. The fans were in full voice. It's a shame the team couldn't match it. Literally, it's the best atmosphere I've been in all season. Really was a shame that the team just did not pull through with it. But, Sim, can we do it tomorrow?
Well, I mean, look, it's obviously a mountain to climb, let's be honest. Let's not be around the bush. It's going to be near impossible to get back into the game, not just because Chelsea right now are a better team. That's obvious. They have a better squad, got better players. You know, they're obviously more ahead in their development than we are, since Tuchel was there a year ago now. He's been there a year. Lukaku's back in the frame as well, despite the fact that he had his troubles. I think he's actually playing quite well at the moment. He's scoring goals. I think that's 3 and 3 now for him. But it's not just all these things. It's also the injuries that we have. Son is out, definitely not playing. We know that for sure, which is a massive blow. Bergwijn, he's not going to be playing, so because he's injured or whatever. He might be subject to a transfer. We're not sure, but he's not going to be playing. So it leaves us with Lucas, Kane, and Gil. Gil, I don't think is ready for this kind of game. Maybe for a sub appearance. I wouldn't start him. So that leaves us with Lucas and Kane. All right, that's the forward problems. But then you look at the back. Eric Dyer, he had a problem.
Yeah, he's touch and go.
Yeah, he had a problem in on the weekend. Is he going to be fit? If he is fit, is he going to be 100% fit? All these things come into play. Is Rodon ready to step in, or even because if Dyer doesn't play, Romero's still not there, so it's either Rodon or Tanganga that comes in for him. Is there enough like a leadership to make sure that we don't concede any more goals while we look to go forward? I mean, we need to be at 100% to get back in this game, and I find it very difficult to see us doing that with the problems we have.
Yeah,
but on the flip side, if Dyer is back, we maybe we go with a 5-3-2 and put maybe a Lo Celso in the centre, put Lucas and Kane up front. Maybe we can be a bit more solid, and maybe Lucas and Kane can do damage. But with Chelsea at the moment, they've kind of gone. They went for a rut, but it looks like they might have come out of that now.
Yeah, it does seem like they're starting to come out the other side. But, I know we're very much depleted, but Chelsea are depleted too. Cast your mind back to earlier in the season when we played Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We actually gave them a really good game first half. I know.
Without really laying a glove on them.
Without really laying a glove on them. But that was a Nuno side. And I imagine if we have that sort of dominance in the game with a Conte side, will be much more dangerous in front of goal, and maybe we can lay a glove on them. I mean, I left the stadium last week thinking, you know what, we got away with one at 2-0 and we're still very much in the game. Mm-hmm. That's the way I felt leaving the game last week. And
agreed.
And you've got Kante out, who's a massive miss for them. You've got Edouard Mendy out, who's a massive miss for them. You've got Thiago Silva, Reece James, Azpilicueta out as well. So I mean, they've got heavy injuries, and Chilwell, obviously. So they've got heavy injuries this weekend.
Yeah, but injuries are more important to us than they are to them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But, in a one-off cup game, I wouldn't say I'm expecting us to go and win tomorrow, but I'm expecting for a much, much better performance, and I'm expecting to be very competitive tomorrow.
Well, I'm expecting no Doherty at left back, which we had in the first leg, didn't we? So we'll have Reguilon back. He was rested on the weekend. Which is very strange, actually, looking back now, because he was on the bench, right, against Chelsea, and then he didn't play on the weekend. So why? Why did he not play any of the last two games?
Yeah, well, Conte blamed it on tiredness. So make of that what you will. I don't know if it is tiredness or what, or if there's a problem there. But the last time he played, obviously, he had a bad performance against Southampton the last time he played? When he got taken off at half-time.
Yeah, he was booked, and he was tired that game, to be fair.
So he got taken off at half-time that game. It looked like he was going to get sent off if he was to stay on. Yeah. And he hasn't played since. Conte's blamed it on tiredness. Do you buy that?
I don't know.
This for 2 games?
It's very strange. I mean, for Morecambe, I understand he's being rested, but why he didn't play then against Chelsea, I don't understand. He didn't play at all, did he? He didn't even come on, so... I thought that was very strange. I think against Morecambe with Sessegnon back, that's obviously the right call. But look, if it means he's going to be fresh for the Chelsea game, I'm not going to complain. Look, and that means we're going to be a lot more competent down the wings than we were against Chelsea in the first leg. The thing is with Chelsea, they've got a big squad. Like they can handle these injuries. Like we, unfortunately, one injury to Dyer, and we're thinking about Rodon or Tanganga. You know what I mean? That's just the set of our squad. Yeah, and that's nowhere near where Chelsea are at the moment.
What I'm saying is that when we played them back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium earlier on the season, we had Nuno, and we gave them a really, really good game first half, and all the Spurs fans were very happy at half-time with what was going on. They bring on Kante, and the whole game flips. So maybe we do have a chance without Kante there.
It was different. First of all, we had a pretty much full team.
Full strength, yeah.
We had Son there, Dyer was there, Romero was even playing. He was playing really well.
That was Romero's debut, wasn't it?
He potentially it was his debut in the Premier League anyway. Maybe he played in the Cup before that, the Conference League. And second of all, we were definitely the better team in the first half, but we didn't really create anything. We barely had any chances. It was just that we were very happy that
we were competitive.
Yeah, basically off the back of bad loss to Palace, 3-0, you're thinking, oh, you're fearing the worst, and all these players are coming back from quarantine and whatnot. And then we actually gave them a game in the first half. And remember, Chelsea at the time were flying high, winning every game. So it was unexpected that we actually gave them a bit of a game in the first half, but the second half, they rolled us over 3-0. And there was actually, the second half was much more dominant for them than the first half was for us.
Yeah, of course.
So, I think I just find it, unless if Dyer is out, I actually give us no chance. If Dyer is not playing, we're not keeping a clean sheet. That's you have to pretty much accept that, because with Tanganga and Roden at the back, or Roden, with Sanchez and Davis, and no leadership. There'll be no
I think Sanchez
coordination.
And Davis definitely play. It's all about just who plays.
Yeah, of course they have to play. We have no choice, and
it has to be Roden, in my opinion,
rather than Tanganga.
Yeah.
After last week, I guess.
If Roden's still got that injury,
yeah,
we're going to have to play Tanganga, because we can't have Roden in the state he played against Morecambe in this game.
Yeah, that's the. Well, the Tanganga didn't exactly play well against Morecambe either.
No, I know, but it's like the lesser of two evils. Which one do you want? Do you want Tanganga, who's had a shit show in the last 2 games, or do you want Roden, who's not fully fit and also is susceptible to a?
The only way I think we maybe get some joy is we just have to beef up the midfield, make sure we're competitive in that area, and not getting overrun like we did last week. If we are going to go down, don't make it easy for them, and that's the only way I can see it. If we play 2 midfield of Højbjerg and Skip and a back 3, not including Dyer, I can see it being a pretty simple day for Chelsea. Honestly, obviously we still have quality. We still have Kane, Lucas. The wing backs might cause some problems, and but. I mean, I think at the moment everything's pointing to Tottenham not being able to turn this one around. I think if we did have Son available and Dyer available, I'd be actually a bit more hopeful. I'd give us a chance. But because of if Dyer is out and Son being out, and Bergwijn, we actually don't even have Kane and Son. If it's not working for an hour for them, we literally have nothing.
Kane and Lucas, yeah.
Sorry, Kane and Lucas. If it's not working for them, we don't have anything to change it.
Yeah.
And Ndombele, is he going to be involved? Probably not after what happened on the weekend. So that's another option.
I think he's going to have to be involved. I think he's going to have to.
I hope so. But there's a chance he might not be. And if he's not, then that's another player who could potentially create something for us, who will be out of the picture. We're running out. Then all of a sudden you're running out of players who you think could actually hurt Chelsea. Just purely on a attacking basis. That's the state of our squad. That's just it. Chelsea, they can have all these players out, yet they still got so much talent. I was looking at the squad. I remember before the game last week, I was looking at the teams, and I was just looking at both 11s. I was like, I'm looking at both 11s. I'll take a 2-1 right now. Defeat 100%. I'll take a 2-1 defeat. And I remember people in the WhatsApp group were talking. They were saying, "Oh, what are you talking about? Chelsea, look at the players they got out. James and this and that. They got all these players out. We can do something today." I was like, mate, just because they got players out, look at the team. Look at the first 11. They've in terms of talent, they've got so much more talent than us in the forward line. So much. Well, their backups will probably start for us. That's the truth. And I find it very difficult to see us rolling them over tomorrow. And we have to win by 2 goals as well. Yeah. It's going to be so difficult. Maybe if we get an early goal, we keep it tight, make sure that we don't concede another, and then last 20 minutes or so, we really go for it. Maybe we can get something there if there's some tactical mastery from Conte, which can't put it past him. You never know, but even that, we would need Dyer. We need Eric Dyer tomorrow.
It's mad how important the guys come to us. After last season, everyone was willing to chuck the guy away, us included.
But that's still, to be honest, as much as I think Dyer's improved and he's been great, our reliance on him is not due to how good he is.
Yeah,
it's due to exactly.
And I was saying that yesterday. I was like, the emergence of Davis, Dyer, and who was the other player I was thinking of? Anyway, a few other players that have been performing well, that have been on the fringes recently. That's not an indictment of how good they are. It's an indictment of how poor we are.
Yeah. For example, Thiago Silva, 10 times the defender Eric Dyer is, right?
Yeah.
But Chelsea aren't as reliant on Silva as we are on Dyer. It doesn't mean Dyer's a better player just because Chelsea have Christensen to come in and Rudiger to come in and much better defenders to come in. and fill the gap when he's out. We have Tanganga and Joe Rodon, who might be potentially good defenders right now. They're not capable of coming in this kind of game. Clearly, well, at the moment, they have, from what they've shown, is they're not really capable of coming in this kind of game and leading a defence and making sure that we're solid at the back and making sure we're all organised and everyone's doing their job and leading, because that's what they're going to have to do. They can't just come in and defend, right? They're going to have to be a leader. They're going to have to actually organise the defence. They're going to have to communicate with everyone. Dyer, unfortunately, is the only one who can do that. Sanchez is a good defender, but he can't lead the line. Davis is a good defender, but he's never been a leader. He's one who complements the other defenders.
He was the best leader at Stamford Bridge, that's for sure.
But he's not a leader. He wasn't a leader. He just defended well. He's not a leader. He's not one who can organise a defence. Dyer's the only one.
That at Stamford Bridge. He was doing that. I was watching him
we
very
lost
closely.
2-0.
I know we lost 2-0.
So he wasn't leading well then.
We weren't good enough. Well, it's hard to lead those kind of players, isn't it? But he was definitely showing some leadership qualities at Stamford Bridge, that's for sure. Because there were so many lackluster performances. He was shouting at them all night. All night he was shouting at them, trying to G them up, trying to get to grips with stuff. But look, it obviously wasn't good enough. I think Conte got it wrong as well last week. I genuinely believe we need to beef up that midfield this weekend, tomorrow night. We need to put 3 in midfield. We need to make it difficult for them in midfield. We need to make it a cauldron as fans as well. We need to believe that we can win tomorrow night. And we need to literally sing for the lads, make it a cauldron of hate for the Chelsea lot for 90 minutes. And that's the only way we're going to get anything from the game tomorrow. If the fans can rise up and if the players can rise up to the fans rising up. That's the way we're going to win tomorrow night. It's not going to be done on quality, that's for sure.
Yeah, we have to just outfight them. We have to make sure that we're getting in their faces, more intense than them. We have to make sure that we're early in the game. We're making sure that Chelsea know that they're in for a game. That's the only way we somehow make a game of it. Otherwise, it's going to be simple for Chelsea. And I just worry that if Chelsea score an early goal, then it's going to be like that second half against Chelsea that we played back in September or whenever it was. It was that second half was probably the easiest game they've had all season. That second half, like we literally didn't have anything. Like we were just lumping it forward and giving it back to them, and then they could have even that day it could have been even more than 3 in the end. And that's what I worry about, because we need the game to be there for us if we're going to be in it. If it's 3-0, I think the heads drop. I think the players start losing belief, and it's going to be very difficult. So hopefully we get an early goal, and maybe then we can make a game of it, and we can be competitive. But I just find it with the players we have out. Unfortunately, look, this is just the reality of our squad. With the players we have out, I find it very difficult to see us doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we need to try and find a little bit of positivity from somewhere. It is a semi-final. It is against Chelsea. Yes, we're 2-0 down, but what areas of the pitch do you think that maybe we can exploit tomorrow and we can hurt them?
Yeah, it have to be the wings, because, as you say, Reece James is out, Chilwell's out, Azpi's out. So there is an area that, with Marcus Alonso, I know he had a good game last week. But if we beef up the central areas and and force them out wide, technically we should be able to exploit them. Last week we weren't able to because we had Matt Doherty at left wing back, and he can't exploit anyone. But with Reguilon there, all of a sudden we have a player who could actually hurt them and get in behind them and actually make them think going the other way, unlike Doherty did. So there is an area where we might actually have a bit, not even just like numbers or anything. We actually might have better quality on the day because of their injuries in that area. But we have to make sure that we're exploiting it in the right way, because last week they surprised us, Chelsea. They went with a 4 at the back in the first half. It meant that Ziyech was playing on the right, and he tucked in very narrow, made it very difficult for us to pick him up. And they got a lot of joy that way. So we've got to be wary of those kind of things if they do switch to 4 at the back. But yeah, I think if we can clog up the central areas, force them out wide, then the wings, maybe, if Emerson can have some of his crossing boots on, we might get some joy.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. I mean, in terms of the midfield for Chelsea, are you expecting Saul to play again?
Is Loftus-Cheek injured?
Doesn't say he is.
So he could definitely play. They got Jorginho, Kovacic. They got a lot of players available. I wouldn't want if I was a Chelsea. Yes, Kante's injured, but
Who have they got this weekend, Chelsea? Don't they have like Man City or something?
they do have Man City. Yeah. But still, it's a semi-final. It's a big game. So
Yeah.
I don't think, like, even look, they've got Saul, Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, and Jorginho. That's 4 centre mids, right? Even without Kante that they have available, who are all decent quality, who can all do a job. If they do start with Saul, and they do play with 2 in the middle, that's also an area we can try and exploit because he's been terrible for them. He's been absolutely horrific.
Against us.
He didn't even play that great. We just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like when we were in the second half,
It's the first time he's not been an embarrassment on a football pitch.
it was the
'cause
first
we let
time he's
him play,
lasted 45
because
minutes.
we let him play.
But the second half, once we made some changes, all of a sudden it became a bit more difficult for him, and they had to take him off. But he's definitely one we can look to exploit if he starts in a 2. If he starts in a 3, it's hard to exploit him. But if he starts in a 2, then that's definitely one we can exploit in the centre. But they you know. The problem with Chelsea's squad is, you know, if he does do that badly, they bring on Kovacic, and he's been recently anyway one of the best in the league. He's been brilliant, so it's difficult. But yeah, we got to hope that they try and plan for the weekend with the squad that they have, and if they do that, maybe we can catch them off guard. In this, if we can beef up the central areas, force them out wide, that's what I think he'll do. I think he's going to play a 3-5-2.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I wanted him to play a 3-5-2 last week at Stamford Bridge. I'm not really sure why he didn't. But look, it's a massive game tomorrow at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I want to see positivity. I know it's not been very positive so far, but it's the only way we're going to win this if the fans get on side, support the team throughout the end, and the fans and the players respond to it. Because we've seen it time and time again. You know, you were at that Liverpool game. Yes, I know we had Sonny and Dyer and stuff like that, but how much of an impact did the fans have that day?
Yeah, massive. We're well up for it, and if the fans are up for it, it could definitely bring the players to another level. 100%. I'm not like, obviously, at the end of the day, as much as, you know, dies down to all these things, you know, it is a game of football. It's 90 minutes. It's 11 versus 11, and as much as Chelsea are better quality, you never know what can happen. We can surprise everyone, and for sure, you know, that's always a possibility. You know, never know. I'm just assessing it from what I see. But if we completely have if the crowd are up for it, and we're making it a wall of sound, and you know, the players are feeding off that, then things can change very quickly. Very quickly. All of a sudden, Chelsea can get under the cosh. We get an early goal. All of a sudden, the momentum can be with us. But it's going to be very difficult to get into that situation. But you never know. You never know.
All right. Well, what score prediction are you going for, having said all that?
I'm going to go with 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah. I think we'll score, and then we'll have a bit of belief, and then Chelsea will score a killer goal, and it will knock us out.
I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I think we're gonna start strong. I think we're gonna take the lead, probably take the 2-0 lead, and then they're gonna do a killer blow at the end.
We won't. I guarantee you now, we're not going to go 2-0 up.
Well, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for 2-1 to Spurs, but unfortunately Spurs to go out. Sim is going for 1-1. Let me know in the comment section below what your score predictions are. I mean, I'm trying to be positive, even though I'm saying we're going to go out. I'm trying to be positive. Maybe it's a bit delusional, who knows, but you've got to be delusional when you're playing Chelsea in a semi-final and you're 2-0 down.
Oh, look, the fact is, when we beat them 5-1, how many years ago was that?
20.
There was a much bigger gap than between the teams there are now.
Yeah.
So we beat them 5-1 that day.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. You know, when we beat them in the final, you know, there was a much bigger gap then. In 2008. So,
Very true.
I mean, we've got previous in this tournament from beating them in gaps. I mean, look, they've got previous of beating us many a time over the year. But look, there is a significant gap between the clubs, as Conte clearly stated. But we could go there and win. We can go there and win tomorrow night. Well, they can come to us and we can beat them. But it's not over. This tie is not over. And I think Tottenham are going to surprise us tomorrow night. I really believe that. So let me know. I
wouldn't be surprised if it's a fast start. I really wouldn't. But I can't see us over 90 minutes getting over the line.
Well, I want to know your thoughts on the game in the comment section below. That is our match preview. Now let's move on. Have we got any guests in the thing? Is Lewis there? No. All right, so let's move on to some headlines then, not some guests. What headlines have we got coming up first? All right, let's move on and let's talk about Steven Bergwijn. Apparently, Tottenham, this is according to the Telegraph out in Holland, that Tottenham have rejected an £18 million bid for Steven Bergwijn.
From Ajax.
No, it was euros, actually.
From Ajax.
18 million euro bid from Ajax. Spurs holding out for a bigger offer, apparently want the money back that they paid for him. I think this deal will go over the line, won't it?
Yeah, this is from I can't remember his surname. It's from a guy from Mike something in out in Holland.
Yeah, the Telegraph.
Yeah, but this specific report I'm talking about, and he's been on this deal ever since like
a long time.
Yeah, he's at the beginning of December. He was saying how Ajax want to bring Bergwijn to Holland and stuff like that. So he's been pretty like hot on the case with this deal. He's reporting now that they had a 18 million euro bid rejected for Bergwijn, and I think that it seems like a matter of time. But he also said that they're relying on David Neres leaving, and they're saying he could be going to Shakhtar for 13 million euros, which seems very cheap for a player who, a couple of years ago seemed to be playing really, really well.
Yeah.
So maybe it hasn't developed as well as people have liked, but I think this one is probably going to happen. He isn't in the squad at the moment. It's no coincidence. Has he played in January at all? No. How many games have we had in January? Just Watford.
Last game he played was West Ham, wasn't it?
What games have we had in January? Watford and Chelsea, is that it? Just those 2 games?
No, we played more, haven't we?
And Morecambe.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That's it. So we've had those 3 games. He hasn't played at all in January. It's no surprise. It might, people might find it suspicious that all of a sudden
was Palace, yeah.
That was in December. So, Conte said he picked up an injury in that game. He said it was a slight knock or something, and all of a sudden we haven't seen him since. No surprise that since January's opened, he hasn't been seen. Are we saving him for a transfer, or is he genuinely injured? I'm not 100% sure. Could be either. But 80 million euros, I wouldn't accept that. But I think I don't think we're going to get our money back at 20. I think it was 27 million pounds. I don't think we're going to get that. But I think somewhere between 20 and 25 million. I think maybe like 23, something like that.
I'd agree. I mean, the annoying thing is that we need him at the moment.
That is,
desperately at the moment.
We could do with him tomorrow.
If he's not injured, we should be using him. Look at Wolves with Adama Traore. They used him in the FA Cup and cup tied him. Why shouldn't we be using Bergwijn when we need him desperately like we do?
We definitely need him. We're very short of numbers up front. We're very short of numbers. We have Kane and Lucas pretty much. That's it. We're the only players we can rely on. Gil can be relied on for a sub appearance. But we literally just have Bergwijn at the moment. Sorry, just Kane and Lucas. So we definitely need Bergwijn's impact. And if the deal isn't close, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. If it's not close, and if he's fit, he is technically injured. That's what they're saying. So he might actually be injured. And then what can we do? But if he isn't, then 100% we're kind of screwing ourselves by not using him and doing that, because we have no options, and we could really use someone like Bergwijn who can make an impact in a game like tomorrow. We need everything we can tomorrow to get a result, and if he's available, he has to be playing.
Completely agree. In terms of if we sell Bergwijn, we're going to need to bring one in. Do you think Adama's that guy, or do you think Adama's going to be brought in for a different position?
Yeah, I mean, history tells us it is going to be Adama replacing Bergwijn. That's what history says. Even if we are bringing Adama to play right wing back, history tells me that because Adama can play up the 4 positions, the hierarchy will justify it in saying like, oh, he is brought in to play right wing back, but if we need him to, he can play in the forward line and stuff like that.
Play there.
I mean, Bergwijn, that's one with him.
I know.
We needed a striker, target man that day, January. That whole January, we had no strikers. We'd sold Llorente. Kane was out for however long, like 6 months or something. And we needed a striker desperately. And then we ended up on like late in the window getting Bergwijn, and we didn't get a striker. And then we were hearing, Bergwijn can play up front if need be.
Yeah, because he's played once there.
He played once for PSV, so he can. So if need be, he can play. Even in the summer, that's what they were saying about Adama. Do you not remember? They were saying because we were not going to get a striker, we're going to get Adama, and if need be, he can play up front. Because one time he played up front for Wolves, so he can. If need be, he can play up front. So history tells me that Bergwijn is going to fund the Adama deal, and we're not going to get another forward in, but we have to. If we're selling Bergwijn, Adama has to be seen as getting a right wing back in and not getting a forward line, and it has to be seen in that through that lens. Even though I believe from time to time he probably will play in the forward line, he has to be seen like that, because if we're selling Bergwijn and bringing Adama, then we're kind of hiding to nothing. We're not adding goals to the team. We're not really adding what we need to in terms of the forward line. Even if Adama is seen as a forward, right, we still need another forward on top of that. So I think I really hope that we get a move on. And the fact that for me, if we're not going to sign a forward player in this window, in addition to Adama, then I wouldn't sell Bergwijn.
Yeah,
that would be my position, but I don't think that's obviously the club would never be their position.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get, if we were to sell Bergwijn to bring in Adama to replace him, it's just, I don't see the point of it.
We need Bergwijn and Adama.
One guy without end product for another guy without end product.
We need both of them.
We need both of them and more.
Yeah, and more. Exactly. So it shouldn't be a situation where it's one in, one out with Bergwijn and Adama. It has to be if we're getting Adama, if we're not going to get another forward, then you have to keep Bergwijn, because then we're so short of options. And then what was it, that report, I can't remember who it was, saying Tottenham reassessing their sell to buy policy because there's no bids for Ndombele and Dele. It's like, if that's a policy you can reassess, clearly you can afford to buy without selling. Well,
that George Bannister last night on Twitter, he was saying that it's not necessarily one in, one out, and if if a player comes around that they want to get, they'll go and get him. I mean, I don't know who this George guy is, but he seems to have some sort of links into the club, doesn't he?
Yeah, he usually gets things spot on. Well, look, and I hope he's right. I hope it's not one in, one out. But it's always what we're hearing, isn't it? All the time. That's always the noises when it comes from like people like Ali Gold. He always. Yeah, it's true. I guess Ali Gold's always very conservative, though.
He's always saying one in, one out, and he said, "Oh, there's no money to spend. It's one in, one out." And then in that season, we spent like 50, 60 million and hardly sold anyone.
Last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember at the beginning of the window, he's like, yes, it's one in, one out. There's hardly any money to spend and all that kind of stuff. Then we started signing Reguilon for 30 million, this one, that one.
Yeah, true.
So we hear this and these noises all the time. Maybe it's just what the club want to push out in terms of, trying to get their targets on the down low.
I hope so. But then how many times have we also, come at the end of a window without what we need? And then we hear, oh, we couldn't sell this one, so we couldn't get him.
We always end the window, the summer window, with the illusion that we've got what we need, but it's never what we need.
What happened when we were trying to sell Eriksen and then we're going for Bruno, and then because we couldn't sell Eriksen, we didn't get Bruno.
Yeah,
and
it's happened time and time again.
So many times.
Both situations has happened a bit.
I'd say more the former.
Yeah, definitely more the former.
So definitely. Look, I just hope that we're not. I just hope we don't screw ourselves hard by selling Bergwijn and not getting a forward in this January and leaving us really short in the for the remainder of the season, because already we're short. Right now we're short. So we're selling someone already in the forward line. Then, technically, we should be signing 2 forwards or 3 forwards in this, because that's not even including I'm not even talking about a striker. I'm not even talking about someone back up to Kane. I'm literally just talking about people supporting Kane. So we need 2 of them, let alone a backup to Kane. You know what I mean? So I think it's ridiculous.
The forward line that we need. We need so many other positions as well. I mean, this squad is in such a bad state. It's unbelievable. But look, at the end of the day, this is the news. We've rejected a bid for Steven Bergwijn, 18 million euros from Ajax. I do expect this deal to get over the line at some point during the window, but I wish they would just hurry up, because we need to get this business done. We've got Chelsea tomorrow. Obviously, it's too late to bring in signings for that. We've got Arsenal on the weekend. It's probably too late to bring in signings for that. So, I mean, we're bypassing this crazy
Even if we did sign someone on the 1st of January, it's unlikely they're going to go straight into the team.
Well, someone like Adama Traore, fit and ready to go, he could step straight in.
Yeah, I guess someone like Adama could step straight in.
And, I'm sure there are other players that could step straight in as well. Let's say if we were to sign, for argument's sake, look, I don't think we're going to sign him now, but for argument's sake, a Franck Kessie. He's been playing in AC Milan all season, fit and ready to
He
go.
wouldn't. I don't think he would step straight in.
In terms of what? Because he's not ready for the league. He needs to.
No, I just think he trusts Skip and Højbjerg. I just don't think he would. Kessie he's a new signing, but Conte is very much merit-based manager. I don't think he's going to put someone straight in just because they're a new signing when he trusts. I think he likes Skip and Højbjerg.
Yeah,
Conte.
but maybe he is a merit-based manager, but maybe he thinks that Kessie can offer something to the team that Skip and Højbjerg is not, or something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Skip and Højbjerg have in a 3 in midfield.
I'm sure he does believe that, but I don't think he literally signs him and then a few days later puts him straight in the lineup. Is my point. I don't think he would.
We don't know because
I don't think Conte would do that. I don't think Conte would do that.
Well, we don't know because there's no previous to it because we haven't seen Conte make a signing for us yet.
He's made signings for other teams.
Yeah. And have you got a note of how long they come in straight after he's been signed?
Look, I'm just saying it's mid-season, right? He's got 2 midfielders who he likes and trusts. Unless he's gonna think immediately to drop one of them, I don't think he will sign someone then literally in a few days put him straight in.
I think it depends who it is.
I just don't think he would in that position. I think someone like Emerson, someone like Adama, yeah, because Emerson literally is our only right back. So of course he's one he can put straight in. But someone like Kessie, I don't think he would.
All right, look, that is the news on Steven Bergwijn. Let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts are on Bergwijn leaving the club this January transfer window. Let's move on, and we've got a guest in the background. I believe I saw...
No, not doing the other headline first.
No, we'll do it after, because we've got Lewis here from Chelsea Fan TV, Carefree Lewis. Let's bring him on. Lewis, how we doing, bro?
Yes, guys, I'm all good. How's everything with
Get
you
that
guys?
smug smile off your face.
I'm just happy to see you guys. It's round 2 of 3. We said we're going to be seeing a lot of each other over the next month. And yeah, it's just good to see you guys again. How's everything been?
Yeah, all good, man. All good, man. Still got nightmares of Stamford Bridge last week.
Last week for the last 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. Apart from that time where we saw Lewis in the home end, that was.
Yeah, that was all good.
We don't need to go through that.
But Lewis, first of all, in the game last week, we haven't spoken since then. I mean,
for good reason, I think.
What did you make out of the game last week?
I'll be real. I expected a lot more from you guys going into that match. We were speaking about it before, and I was saying I was really worried about how Antonio Conte would have already started to implement a style of play on the team. But that felt like a throwback to Nuno's Spurs, if we're being real, because you lot came in and there wasn't really a game plan. I thought you guys absolutely struggled through that game, and especially the rotations that we had to make in that first leg. I'm really surprised it was so easy for us. And I'm not even saying that to be cocky. It was just I didn't see anything from Tottenham in that game. I'm sure you guys would agree with me as well. It was a poor performance from you guys.
I agree, but I think it wasn't so much we didn't have a plan. I think we got completely surprised by Tuchel and his setup in the first half. And then obviously you got a couple of goals in the first half while we were adapting to you because you went forward at the back. No one expected you to do that.
It also felt like you lot gave us the goals. The first one was a huge mistake by Tanganga. The second one's a double deflection. It's terrible luck on you guys' part, but also going forward and in terms of progressive plays and everything, you guys just seem second best in everything. Yeah, it probably is Thomas Tuchel because for me, that's why I always say he's the best manager in the world for me, because he's able to get the best out of squads that I expect to struggle going into games. I didn't expect the performance like that from Malang Sarr. I didn't expect Sal to dominate the midfield like he did.
Even though Sarr should have been sent off.
Sarr should have been sent off.
Well, he got booked and then he made a challenge right at the end where he should have been. I mean, it wouldn't have impacted the game whatsoever, but I think he should have got sent off.
I probably don't even recall that foul, but fair enough, innit? But I still haven't seen a performance from Sal this season. Same thing from Sarr. Marcus Alonso at left back. I think it's just Marcus Alonso against you guys. I've just given up
Every
on
time.
Every time. I don't know what it is.
You know what it is? It's that because the
Neither
away
do I.
end.
I don't
Yeah.
get it
It's the
anymore
away end
'cause
give
he's
him so much
horrific.
stick every time, and then he rises up to it. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
Pretty much.
I don't get it because he's a horrific footballer, but he still turns up whenever it's you guys. So I've actually just given up on trying to predict him.
In terms of the way Chelsea are going to set up tomorrow, you've got a lot of injuries. Azpilicueta's out, Reece James is out, Chilwell's out. Who are you expecting to play on the flanks, on the wing backs?
I think we might go back to 4 at the back again because we only did that against you guys because we didn't have enough players. Although Thiago Silva is back now for this game. My only thing is, though, we have Manchester City coming up on Saturday, and Man City have a full week's rest going into it. So I do expect some rotation in this game, but we also can't rotate too much because if we do that, we open the door to you guys to come back into this tie. So I don't really know what to expect, but there should be some rotation in the side. I don't expect it to be anything close to our strongest 11. If anything, you might see a team similar to the first leg.
Yeah, well, but if there is a team like that similar to the first leg for Chelsea, are you worried at all about maybe Tottenham having a different kind of plan or being a different kind of team in the second leg? Or do you because we have our own problems, Dyer out potentially anyway, Son is definitely out, so we're definitely depleted. But do you think this Chelsea team could stand up to scrutiny in the second leg?
Definitely, in spite of the first leg, I do still worry about what Antonio Conte can get out of that side. If anything, it might motivate them more to turn up more in the second leg, and you guys will have the home advantage as well, and I expect your fans to be up for it too. London derby and everything will be under the lights, the perfect situation for you guys. I think for us, it's more about just handling ourselves through the first half. If we can maintain our position in the first half, then I expect us to go through the tie a lot more comfortably. I think if you guys get an early goal, though, it's going to be a long night for us.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope we can get that early goal. I think that's the only hope for us going into this game and trying to get to that final is if we can't get that early goal, the fans rise up. And if we can really act as the 12th man, the fans tomorrow, I think we can get something. But it's going to be a very tall order. I mean, you're beating us 5-0 on aggregate this season already from the cup game and the league game. So, I mean, it's going to be a very, very tough ask for us. And I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to figure out some ways that we can beat you. But where do you think that your real vulnerabilities come tomorrow night?
Same position as the first leg, that left-hand side. If you guys can isolate Marcus Alonso, it's a long night for him. But he just turns up against you guys every single time, and I just don't understand it. You lot need to stop booing him, I think, first and foremost.
You're probably right there.
Start cheering him. Yeah, exactly. But do you not think, though, with Reece James out and Azpilicueta out, on the right, I know on the right-hand side last time, you actually had a lot of joy because we had Matt Doherty there on the left. But we're probably going to have Reguilon tomorrow. So that could maybe be an area we can explore because Ziyech pretty much had a free run last week. Last week because of our lack of any quality on that side. No, we had no player to exploit you. You could literally let Doherty have free reign of that side and he was never going to do anything. But Reguilon might be a different kettle of fish. He might actually be able to get in behind you and actually make Ziyech think about his defensive duties a bit.
Yeah, Ziyech hasn't really been tested in that right wing-back role. He has played really well in the last few games I've seen him in, but it has also been you guys and Doherty on the left, and then it's Chesterfield, and you can't really say too much about playing against Chesterfield. All due respect to them, of course. So it'll be interesting to see him against a proper opponent, because Reguilon, I won't say anything about him. He is still one of the best left-backs in the league regardless. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs against him. I think Ziyech is still underrated in terms of his defensive work rate. He's not a strong presser over the 90 minutes, but he's more of a smart presser. And because he plays in more of that inverted role, it's a lot more interesting to see how he adapts in that position. But Ziyech v Reguilon will be a good battle. I do expect Reguilon to dominate in the attacking sense as well, but I expect that from both sides, which is why I think it'll be an open game on the left-hand side too. I think for you guys, though, it's more about just trying to get something out of Harry Kane, because you got Son injured for this tie as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this just gets even harder for you guys going into it.
And maybe
'Cause
Dyer
Harry
as
Kane,
well.
I didn't see him that first leg. I don't know what happened to him.
Did
Like,
you see
Sargent
any
had him
Spurs
his back
players in that
pocket.
first leg?
Nah,
You know what I mean?
nah.
You know what
But
I mean? We were
I don't know
terrible.
what happened to you guys that first leg. Like, you guys were awful. Like, all due respect and everything like that. I didn't see anything from you guys. I feel like you guys threw the tie away in the first leg itself.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the first leg, because it's only 2-0, you really should have pumped us 4 or 5-0 that night. You really should
Story
have.
of Chelsea. Let's just
You know what I
score
mean?
every
Because
game we win, we should have scored another
that tie
5
should have been
goals.
put to bed in the first half. That tie should have
is-
been put to bed in the first half.
Every Chelsea game that we win or we draw, there's about 5 big chances that we've wasted. That's just us. Like, I've been used to it from Chelsea from the last 4 years. We'll probably miss a string of chances against you guys tomorrow as well. For us, it's just whatever comes because we are not a clinical team. I call us stormtroopers for a reason. We make like 20 chances and we score 1 or 2. That's it.
But you have obviously both of us have very big games on the weekend. You have Man City and we have Arsenal. But from a Chelsea perspective, is there any eye on that game in terms of like team selection going into this game, or do you think you go with like as strong a team as you can?
I want there to be an eye on the Man City game because I think if we focus too much on the second leg, like, to be honest, we probably already lost the City game anyway. But we need to go there with some semblance of hope because our faint, and I mean faint, title hopes rely on getting a result at the Etihad, which is so much easier said than done. But I can also count Thomas Tuchel to be able to do it, even with a rotated squad, because he's done it before. But one eye does have to be on that game. We can't underestimate Tottenham though, regardless, because if we focus too much on that, we get complacent, then we open the door to you guys to come back. It's a very tough week for us. It's the potential to be an amazing week for us as well, but we can't put all of our eggs into the game tomorrow because we've done a strong enough job to put ourselves in a secure position for the first leg. I think it's more just about maintaining it now for the second leg, and I do think we're capable of doing that as well, but I don't want to play a fully strong side because we've got so many fixtures leading up to the Club World Cup. We've had the Brighton game moved to Tuesday straight after the Man City game. Fixtures just keep coming like that for us. So I do want to see some rotation. I want it to be smart rotation too, but I think we can't play a full strength 11 for you guys. If it opens the door for you guys, it is what it is. But I think we need to focus on being more defensive and just maintaining our lead.
In terms of Lukaku, we spoke about him last week. The news was all very fresh in terms of what he was saying. It seems like him and Tuchel have kissed and made up now. He's back in the side. I mean, is it all forgiven and forgotten for you guys?
No, as long as you score, that's all I think. Like, get the goals and assists, and I don't really care, to be honest. But I've lost the will to defend him that much. Like, we had the Chesterfield fans chanting Romelu Lukaku, he's into Milan the whole first half, and he just
That's
missed
what we were singing at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, every crowd's going to be singing that now at us for the next 4 months. Like, safe for that, guys, but it is what it is. But same way, like, he's not bagging the chances. Against you guys, he had like 10 touches the entire game, and that was it. Against Chesterfield, he did score, and then he missed a hat-trick of even bigger chances than the goal that he scored, while they were chanting that at him the entire first half. And it's like, really? Because I get you scored and everything, but if Werner missed those chances, we're all roasting him, and now you're out here missing those chances. Like, we ain't got the patience for you at this point. Just hurry up and start bagging goals and assists.
In terms of Tuchel, is he was there any point for you where he was actually under any sort of pressure when you were going through that bad run? Did you feel like, because you never know with Chelsea, you never know if they're ever going to pull the trigger if a run gets any worse, and then the Lukaku news comes out, and all of a sudden the player power perception, you're like, Lukaku's kind of showing his strength. Does he want Tuchel out? It looks like now you've come out of that bad run. You beat Villa, you've won your last few games, you beat us. But was there any point where you got slightly worried for Tuchel?
Not really. Like, there was rumours about Thomas Tuchel and potentially getting a bit of heat from Roman, but I didn't believe it for a second. I thought it was just an easy article for anyone to make, knowing our history. I haven't been worried about Thomas Tuchel in the slightest. The worst we've seen from him is the odd bad substitution, And it's like, whatever, all managers have that in them. It is what it is. I think he's been dealt a really bad hand. He didn't get given the players that he asked for in the summer transfer window. We only brought one player on a permanent. We've had a string of injuries, which has crippled his side. And he's had to make do with whatever he's had in the squad, even if the squad has been very limited at that point. Definitely isn't Thomas Tuchel's fault. And even in spite of that, we're here in second place. I don't even know how we're in second place right now, the way that we've been playing over the last month and a half. That, to me, is Thomas Tuchel right there. So there's no pressure from me. I don't think there's any pressure from 99.8% of Chelsea fans. Nothing to do with Thomas Tuchel. It's all about injuries, and it's all about poor transfer activity over the last 4 years.
Interesting. Are you coming tomorrow night to Tottenham?
I might be. I can't guarantee that just yet. But if I am, I'll shout you guys as always. Well, probably after the game.
All right. Give me what's your score prediction going into it tomorrow?
I'm gonna go just 1-0 Chelsea. I think we're gonna play a lot more defensively minded. It could be 1-1, to be honest. I could see you guys get a goal in this game. I don't think you guys just bend over for us in the entire tie. I expect a fight back from you guys. But I expect Chelsea to maintain their lead too. I expect us to see this out and get through to the EFL Cup final. And, you know, maybe I could push for 1-1, but I'm going to stay positive and say 1-0 Chelsea.
All right, big up. So we're going to be doing a preview. Is it on your channel a bit later?
Yeah, I'll be on Chelsea Fan TV later.
All right, so we're going to be doing a preview on Chelsea Fan TV later, so just check that out. If you want to have a look at some Chelsea content, probably the best Chelsea content on YouTube, go check out Chelsea Fan TV and Lewis's personal channel as well. Lewis, big up. Thanks for coming on once again. We've got one more meeting this month.
Let's go, man. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Take care,
Nice
guys.
one,
Love
Lewis.
every
Good to
time.
see you, man.
Big up yourselves.
Cheers, man.
Big up,
Good
Lewis.
to see you,
We'll
man.
speak to you soon, bro.
Bless. Love.
So that was Lewis. Always great getting him on. But let's move on to some more headlines. We've got one more headline for you guys. And that is that Tottenham lead the Franck Kessie race, according to Rudy Galletti. He claims that they have had two offers. Kessie's had two offers for pre-contracts, one from Tottenham, one from PSG. He says that to date the midfielder has two offers, €8 million plus €2 million from Tottenham, PSG, and another EPL club, actually, as anticipated some weeks ago. And Tottenham lead the race. What do you make out of this?
He actually says in his tweet, Tottenham actually lead the race, like as if he's surprised. Like, actually, it's Tottenham who's actually leading the race. Like, oh wow. But what do I think about? I think leading the race at this point doesn't mean much because there's so much to happen. But I guess that's positive in a sense that we're willing to offer the money that it will take to get someone like Kessie through the door. I'm guessing. What did you say? Pre-contract.
Yeah.
So it's not so to get him at the end of the season. That's how I envisage Tottenham going about this deal. I don't think they'll go from now. I know we've done it before. Actually, we've done it twice before where we've signed.
Holtby was one of them. Yeah.
Holtby and Gilberto, two players who had 6 months
great
left.
Players.
So what signings? Two players who have 6 months left on their contract.
We signed Gilberto. Oh, we're getting a Brazilian left
Yeah,
back.
it didn't quite work out like that. I still need to check his passport to see if that guy was Brazilian, but. What was I going to say? Paying money now to get a player 6 months early, so that they to get a player 6 months early, so you can get them now as opposed to waiting to sign them on a free later. Hasn't worked out. We've done it before, but I feel like in the Kessie case. First of all, despite the fact that he hasn't signed a new contract at AC Milan, I believe did he come through there at AC Milan?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he's like he really. I don't know if he came through there, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty attached to AC Milan. Like he's enjoyed a lot of.
He started at Atalanta.
Okay, so he was at Atalanta a few years ago, and now he's. But I'm pretty sure he's like having very good. But basically, my point is,
He's the captain, isn't he?
No,
he's not. Sorry.
They're in a title race,
he's
right?
captain.
They're in a title race, and they're still in the Champions League, or they went out. I can't remember, but they're still in a title race. There's still a lot of stuff going on for him at AC Milan right now. So he's probably a bit reluctant to leave mid-season, right now. It's not in his interest from a team point of view or from a personal point of view to leave mid-season, because if Tottenham go for him in the summer, they're gonna offer him a bigger wage than if they sign him now. Because if they sign him now, we're gonna have to offer at least minimum 20 million, probably more.
20.
Don't think so?
For now, with 6 months left in his contract, I can't see that 20 million. I think literally 10, 15 million tops.
Well, whatever, fine, 10, 15 million, but even that money, right? That goes away from his wage, because that's money that would have got into his wage if we get him in the summer. So there was no advantage to Kessie coming now. But if we sign him on a pre-contract, that's different. Then that's the wages he would have been getting in the summer anyway. So that's how we get him. In terms of competing with PSG obviously have more money than us, but we're in the Premier League. We have Conte. I don't know. I'm not saying we're a better team than PSG, but maybe we could be a bit more of an attractive proposition for players who want to play in the Premier League than a player who wants to play in Liga. So maybe that's why we're ahead of PSG at the moment, just purely by the fact that we're a Premier League team. That's all I can think. But there's still a long way to go. He might wait till the summer to decide. Who knows what's going to happen. Apparently, they're saying negotiations with AC Milan over a new contract have completely stopped now. I don't know how true that is, but apparently that's what they're saying.
Well, Rudy says that he refused the last proposal, which was 5 million euros.
So I hope that this is one we can go over the line, but I wouldn't be getting excited about having him right now. I don't think that's a goer.
In terms of the other Premier League club, who do you reckon it is? I mean, I reckon it's
anyone.
Probably Arsenal.
Could be anyone.
They're desperate for central midfielders at the moment. We got to try. We should try and get him over the line in January. We really should try. I know it's probably unlikely, but we should definitely put in a bid and test the waters.
I mean, I know obviously. I've got nothing against us trying, but why would he? Well, I just don't see why he would agree to it. I don't see any reason to agree to it now.
Yeah. Look, you don't know. I mean, I agree with you. You're definitely right there, but if you never try, you never know. So we should.
Unless we're going to offer him the same wages as we would have in the summer, or something similar.
Yeah.
Like why?
No,
it's only benefits AC Milan.
Yeah.
And they might want him for a title challenge.
Look, it's I completely agree with you. There's nothing I can say there in terms of why he would do it, but I don't know. I'm just saying let's try it and give it a go.
But how? Let's offer him less wages.
I think we should just stump up the bloody money. This is the problem that we've had over year upon year, penny pinching over 1 million here, 2 million there. Offer the bloody money, get the players in. We're desperate now. We're absolutely desperate. We need players in.
We're desperate, right? But we have Winks, we have Skip, we have Højbjerg, we have Ndombele, and we have Lo Celso, all who can play in central midfield.
Yeah. We're trying to get rid of Ndombele, first of all.
Yeah, but we haven't. We're still there.
No. But
my point is, why would we spend more money to get him in as soon as possible when we have 5 players right now who can play that position? We haven't got rid of any of them.
What attributes does Kessie have that we don't have right now?
I'm sure he has a lot. I'm not saying that our centre midfielders. I'm sure he's better than all of them. Maybe the midfielders we have now. I'm not saying he's not an upgrade. I'm just saying from a club point of view, right? You have to spend a lot more money to get him in now than getting him in the summer. But before you can get anyone out, you're basically adding more numbers. You're adding more numbers to the squad, and you're spending all that extra money. Right, when you can get them on a free in the summer, on a pre-contract.
This is the whole problem. We're in the middle of a season right now. We need players in now. We need better quality players in now. I'm sick of this buy in, buy out, one in, one out thing. Like, if we've got a better player that's available, maybe he's not willing to come, maybe he is. That's not the point right now. The point is, let's say for argument's sake, he is willing to come right now in January. If he's available and willing to come, you get him in. No matter who we've got in right now, it doesn't matter because we can get players out or we can try and get players out. But we need better quality in right here, right now.
Of course we do. I always want better quality. Everyone on the pitch, I want better quality. But you got to pick and choose your battles. And I don't think right now...
Right now, we can't pick any battles. We're not getting any battles. We've just got such a depleted squad and there's rumours of Adama Traore coming in, and if he comes in instead of Bergwijn, that's already one down that we need to get 2 more in. And like we just need to beef up the squad in every single area. Every area needs additions. Every area needs an up in quality.
Correct, but we got to make sure that we can't get Kessie in now, and then we're avoiding other areas which probably need more. To look, basically, I'm just looking from the club's point of view, why they would spend the extra money to bring in Kessie now when we have other options in central midfield, whereas right back and centre back and striker, that needs more priority right now than spending the extra money to get Kessie. Now, I'm not saying don't get Kessie. I'm just saying, why would they spend even more than they already would spend on him when they can get him on a free? When we've already have 5 extra, something more than you would normally, because to get him in right now. And I'm saying you can't spend extra on everyone. You can't spend extra on every single signing you make, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to pick and choose who you're really going to push the boat out for. Yeah. Right now I'm saying.
But the money that you're spending on Kessie is so minimal in terms of what he's actually worth. Yes, you could get it for free in the summer, but there's going to be so much more competition. If you spend a bit extra money now and get him in now, first of all, you're beating the competition, you're getting in front of them. And second of all, it plays into what Paratici was saying when he first came to here. If you want a player, don't penny pinch over $1 million here, $1 million there, 5 million here, 5 million there. Get him over the line if you want him. If you want him and he's going to make an addition to your squad, get him in now.
I mean, I'd love to, but I don't think it's that simple. Because first of all, as you say, AC Milan in title challenge. Maybe they're not. Maybe they'll hold out for more than you think they would, because maybe that money's worth it for them.
Yeah,
because that's the truth.
Yeah, that's something else. So, but yeah, I agree with that.
It's not something else, because that's what you're negotiating for.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what this whole conversation was assuming that Kessie's available to come, he wants to come, and AC Milan are willing to do the deal with us right now. So I think if we offer them a 10 million right now, I reckon they accept it. They know he's leaving at the end of the summer for free.
Not necessarily. That's my point. Not necessarily though. Not necessarily, because the money that they can get from winning the league might be more worth it than getting 10 million now.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know how much money they get from winning the league or what have you.
I'm sure you get a lot of money for winning Serie A.
Probably. But yeah, it's nowhere near the levels of like Premier League money and stuff like that. But I don't know how much money it is.
Still, I'm sure it's more than 10 million.
Look, you don't know. We don't know.
I do know it's more than 10 million.
Do you?
Yeah.
How much is it?
I don't know, but it's more than 10 million.
Okay.
You don't think it is?
I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah, but come on. Now, logic states it's going to be more than that amount of money.
Could be. But there's much less money in those leagues than there are in the Premier League.
Yeah, there's less money, but there's not like...
I can type it in now.
How much money do you get for winning Serie A?
Prize money. You get 20 million euros.
20 million for winning Serie A?
Yeah. Yeah, 23.4 million euros.
It's more than 10.
It is more than 10.
So I don't know. I don't know if they definitely accept that.
I don't know. Look, I think because they're going to be losing out money in the summer because he's going to go for a complete freebie, I think they would accept it. I genuinely believe they would. But look, it's a complete nonsense argument because we don't know.
Anyway, I think the only way I don't see him accepting to come now anyway, unless we agree to give him a big contract, which he would have got in the summer. So I just don't see it come. I just don't see it happening now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want him now. Don't get me wrong. I'll obviously want him now. I'm just thinking from the club's perspective.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're arguing from a club's perspective. I'm arguing with what I want now.
I want him now. If it's up to me, I'll sign him now, 100%. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't sign him now. Yeah, but football's not that simple.
No, it's not.
So that's what I'm saying.
Definitely not with Enoch involved.
Definitely not. But yeah, I hope we get him. And if it means signing him on a pre-contract, I'll do it. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, I think obviously number one is bringing him now. We just need players in now, man. I'm just sick and tired of this season.
But if it's a difference between spending extra on a right back and a centre back, or bringing Kessie in now, or bring Kessie in the summer, and then we have a bit extra now.
It shouldn't be though. It shouldn't be.
But that's just life. You know, you guys you can't get everything you want. You know, that's just football. We never get
anything we want.
Yeah, I know, but
something we want.
But we got, you can't get everything.
We don't get anything.
Sometimes we get some things. We got Romero.
We've got Romero. Yeah, he's been.
I'm not.
injured
Look,
the
I'm
whole
not. Look,
bloody
I'm not
season.
Enoch. Look, I'm not Enoch's biggest fan, but I'm just saying. I'm not defending Enoch. I'm just saying, if everyone could get, unless you're Man City, not everyone gets everything they want. Most clubs don't get everything they want.
I'm not asking for everything I want. If I wanted everything I want, I'd be getting 2 centre backs in. I'll be getting a right back in. I'll be getting a right winger. I'll be getting a central midfielder, and I'll be getting a striker. That's not everything I want.
Yeah, but that's what you were just asking for.
I've never asked for 6 signings.
You just said we need a striker, we need a thing, we need this, we need that, we need that.
If I was asking for everything I want, that's everything I want. The bare minimum I want from this January transfer window is 2 signings.
Okay. But if one of them was Kessie, would instead of a centre back and a right back, would that be good? Would you rather that, or would you rather us wait till the summer and get a right back and a centre back?
Personally, if we were only to make 2 signings, I'd probably want the right wing back and probably more of a creative midfielder.
That's my point.
Yeah, look, yeah, you're right in that sense, but my point is that we shouldn't be just doing the bare minimum. We should be pushing the boat out a bit.
Of course we shouldn't be doing the bare minimum.
Especially because we got Conte in now.
Of course. I would love that. I
And if we
want
keep
us to
doing
really
the
push
bare
the boat out.
minimum or below the bare minimum, he's going to go.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go if we don't get Kessie now. I don't think that's
No, obviously not. But I'm saying if we keep doing the bare minimum, if we do the bare minimum now in January and let's say only get 1 signing in, or 2, let's say, for example, if we go in the summer and do the bare minimum again and have another summer like we did last summer, he's going to walk, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't know what's that got to do with it. What the conversation is.
What do you mean?
What's that got to do with the what we're talking about?
What does it have to do with what we're talking about? We're talking about transfers and how much we want in and how much we want out.
Yeah. Why are we talking? I don't know. I think it's gone off topic.
All right, let's move on. Tottenham lead the Kessie race. That is the main point there. But let's move on and let's start bringing on some guests. And let's go to Brian Dakhil. Brian, how's it going, brother?
Good morning, boys. It's great to see this debate, Ben, with you being me and Simeon being you. It's role reversal. How we doing, boys?
It's not quite the same argument, Brian.
It was getting there. So before we get into all this, like I said in the membership chat that I did, I got an update on Bob. And
Go on.
So obviously, Sim, Ben, we were talking yesterday. I gave you a bit more in depth of what was going on. Well, Kim spoke to the doctors today, and his oxygen levels for the first time have gone down below 50%.
Come on!
Amazing.
So his oxygen dependency is down to 45%. Apparently the daily intake that we do, or the levels that we are talking like right now, is 21%. So he is fighting, and he's got this down. It was something like 70 last week. But it is coming down. It is coming down, and Bob is starting to batter the shit out of whatever he's been doing to him. And obviously, like we said before, this could shoot up again. But the thing is, over the last few days, this has started to go down. We've had like 3 or 4 days now, since Saturday really, of pure positivity. So at the moment, we are clinging and we are hanging on to this silver lining because it keeps happening daily. So he is fighting.
Brilliant.
He's winning that fight. There's more to come. At the moment, that's all we can say right now. But the one thing we will say is, at long last, that man is beating the crap out, or what's trying to beat the crap out of him. So the father of kids, the partner of someone, and the best mate of someone is, and someone that is loved by all, and he loves everyone. He's fighting to be back with us, and let's just hope every single day that goes past, I get to announce more news like this.
Inshallah.
Brian. Amazing stuff, Brian. Good to hear. Really good to hear.
So now we've got all the positivity and the love and all that done. Let's get back to that conversation. So first thing I just want to say about it with Kessie is, do you know what? I am sick to the back teeth of hearing we are leading the race. I don't care if we're bloody leading the race. We are always leading the bloody race. How about we win the race?
Yeah, exactly.
How about we do that? Adama, yeah, this is what we're doing. Contemplating, thinking, tossing a coin, game of thumb war, ching chang chow, or paper rock scissors, whatever you want to call it, to see if we make a bid. This is pathetic once again from this club. Lewis, everything he said was bang on the money about the performance. But again, obviously, as you know, when it comes to transfers, I am just doing my head in now because we're day 11 now. So when me and Ben had this heated, or I wouldn't say it, we had a debate. It was a great debate. We hugged it out after me and Ben. I think it was the first time me and Ben had words we disagreed with each other. That was day 7. And people were like, oh, calm down. It's the first week. Well, now we're past the first third.
Yeah.
And it's day 11. To get this done. As Ben said as well, with players coming in, with these games coming in, they might not walk into the squad, but I completely agree with Ben that if a Traore comes in, he's match fit. And he will go straight in as right wing back, probably. No questions. Kessie, if he came in, that's a different subject altogether because of if it's pre-contract or he comes in, he's got to integrate into a new country. But once again, I'm sick to the back teeth of hearing, yeah, we're leading the race. Yeah, we're into this one. Stop doing this. We do this every window.
Is it for you when in terms of the Kessie deal?
Yeah.
Would you push the boat out to bring him in right now, or would you concentrate on other areas and get him on a pre-contract?
Listen, right now we've been told apparently we're not getting a striker, which is one thing we desperately needed. We needed for 7 years. We have absolutely no creativity to break that low block down. So for me, my number one was to get a competition for Kane, but you can clearly see in these low block teams that when they're doing this, we need creativity. We need that spark that can get through that line and get the ball to Kane or Son when he's fit. So there is a chance of being creative. That for me is the number one necessity. I don't know enough about Kessie. Is Kessie more a box to box, or I've heard great things about him. I just don't know much about his style of play.
Yeah, he's more of a central midfielder. He's not quite a defensive midfielder, but he's more. But yeah, box to box, I guess I'd call him. Yeah, but he's very good at penalties. He actually's got a very good pass on him and stuff like that. He's quite good technically.
Okay, so could he be more like Simeon, like a James Ward-Prowse kind of thing? Is that what you're trying to say? But without the set pieces, obviously.
I guess he's quite good at penalties. So, I guess kind of like a James Ward-Prowse potentially. Yeah.
Okay, because I really like James Ward-Prowse, and I think obviously he brings in the set piece with that part to his game as well, as we all know. So if Kessie could do that, then I would try to get him in quickly. Now everyone says January, it's because they wait to their contracts, they get a bigger signing on fee. Like I said, the place we're in right now, we're on damage limitation for years and years of neglect on the playing side. So if you need to push the boat out now and offer him a bit more, you bloody well go and do it. You bloody well go and do it, because you got a manager here that's sitting here that can work wonders, but not with what we got. He's getting everything out of this team that he can with certain players, but he needs someone. I think one thing Kessie will bring in, he'll bring a bit of steel, a bit of a mentality, a bit of a commitment, dedication and passion, which, as we know, in a lot of our players, we are wholeheartedly missing.
Yeah. But Brian, we only have one right back. We have one striker. We're Eric Dyer injury away from, not having great options as centre back either at the moment. Yep. Obviously, in an ideal world, we push the boat out for everyone and get everything we need. But this is not an ideal world, and it's a
Levy world. Which
that's another thing. But you can't get all the positions that you need. So if you're to pick and choose what positions you're pushing the boat out for right now, would centre mid be the top of your list? So
at the top, like I said just before, it used to be a striker. Whether we didn't have that rumour that we're not getting one or not, I think create a Christian Eriksen-esque or a playmaker of some sort is a goddamn necessity, because we just need something to break teams down. We desperately, desperately, desperately need that. Right, listen, the one thing I think will happen, I think Traore will get over the line, but I won't be surprised if it happens after the 25th. Like, literally, we'll drag this out, paper talk, speculation, maybe opening bid will be less than they want. Then we'll go a little bit higher and we'll waste more time. And then we'll go, yeah, do you know what? Let's just pay it because it's the last day of the window. We can say we bought someone. I think he's going to be the one that gets over the line. But the creative midfielder is an absolute foregone conclusion, an absolute necessity. And if we don't get one of them, whoever comes in, I think it's an absolutely abysmal window because we can't create.
Tomorrow, big semi-final against Chelsea. Son definitely out. We know that. Dyer apparently is touch and go whether he's fit for the game. Playing at centre back. Do you get what kind of chances do you give us tomorrow of overcoming the 2-0 deficit?
So do you know what? One thing I will say, and I said this yesterday. I just hope the players on the pitch put in a performance that I know the 62,000 or minus the Chelsea fans, the 57,000, let's say, Tottenham Hotspur fans will do. Because us fans that are going, and I'm lucky to be going with to the game tomorrow, I know for a fact that every single one of them will be there and will back the team wholeheartedly and make that place an absolute cauldron of noise, an absolute atmosphere, like the away fans were when I was with Ben at Stamford Bridge. They were absolutely fantastic and deserved 100 times better than what they saw on the pitch. Now we're going to be there and we will deliver on our promise to back them and be there and do that. So you better go out and bloody well do. It's the semi-final. It's against one of your biggest rivals with the biggest rival coming next. You guys best put on a performance. You have to come out fighting. You have to come out attacking. Listen, the one thing I'm worried about is we saw at Stamford Bridge, we were back, full side. Let's go back, forward, back. Chelsea got the ball, 2 passes, they were right down our throat. Right down our throat, going right into the defence. And that is the worry. But we have to. We put ourselves in this position. We have to attack. We have to. There's no doubt about it. And I just hope we can get an early goal. When I say early, let's say first 20 minutes or so, 25 maximum, because after that, Chelsea will just start growing into the game. And we saw when we went both at Chelsea, but most importantly, when we went to the home game, my first game with you guys, or my first at the new stadium, we played so well in that first half. And then they brought on N'Golo Conte. And by the time Ben had come back from his beer, it was 2-0 to Chelsea. Literally, that's how quick it changed. Ben couldn't even drink a beer.
I don't think I've seen us concede at the Tottenham Stadium this season.
Ben, you need to be in the bar all night. Then
that means we'll lose every game.
That's true. Then you can't go for a drink. Yeah, do that. You can't go for. Sorry, I got that. I'm getting your names right, but now I'm getting everything else you say opposite. But yeah, you've got to stay up with me all night tomorrow because that's how quickly they changed it. They just brought N'Golo Kante on and bang, the game changed. The quality they have. And when we were at Stamford Bridge, they brought on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, and I can't remember, Kovacic. Just like, there you go, off you go.
Yeah.
We don't have this quality, and we know why we don't have this quality. So we need to get this done, and we need to be ruthless right from the beginning. And I just pray to God the ambition and dedication and commitment on the pitch matches what we'll give them off it, and to every single fan watching it at home around the world.
Without Eric Dyer, potentially, without Heung-min Son for sure, do you genuinely believe we can go and get a result tomorrow night?
Look, it's a cup game. Do you know what? I mean, Eric Dyer is the one that scares me. I mean, remember they were saying that we thought he was back. I don't think he was even on the bench on Sunday, was he?
No, but he's in the trading pictures now.
Okay, so that's good. I mean, it all depends, obviously, as we know and as we've seen with COVID, not just on the, with Spurs players or whatever. With COVID, once it's affected you, it takes a little while to get back into your system and get your energy pumped up and everything. So if we do play him, we've got to play him cautiously, especially with Arsenal and Leicester coming up so quickly. It's like we don't want to rush him in because we've seen how vital he actually is when he's out. Like when we see when Ollie Skipper's been out, you can see how much we need Skip in midfield. It's come up with Dyer. One thing I will mention, I love the conversation you two were having about Davies. And obviously Ben said about at Stamford Bridge, Simeon, he was really really showing leadership qualities. He really was. Not saying he should be captain, but I mean, I can understand why it was Sunday. But what he was showing, it just, the team were just completely disillusioned and couldn't cope with what Chelsea were doing. What Ben Davies was doing, and for the first half, he was like literally right in front of us. He was the one that was rallying the troops. He really put in a...
Yeah, but part of being a leader, Brian, is being able to organise the defence. And there's one thing shouting at people and doing that's one thing, but you have to be a good leader. You have to be able to actually organise and communicate. And we were all over the place at the back. I'm sorry.
No, Simeon,
we were all over the
part,
place.
You're totally right. On that part, Simeon, you're totally right. But what I'm trying to get is like, Tanganga had a mare. Tanganga, he was trying to shepherd Tanganga throughout that game, like, be here, do that, get there. And you can't blame Davies for a Tanganga mistake.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying I don't think he's a very good leader. I'm just don't think he's a leader. That's what I'm saying.
Don't get me wrong. He's not on the same level as Dyer. We've seen that. We have clearly seen that. But Ben Davies was the one that was trying. Everyone else were like heads dropped. And Ben Davies was trying. So I completely
he looked
see
more
where
of a
you're
leader
coming
that night than Højbjerg, didn't he, Brian?
100%. 100%. And for me to say bad things about Højbjerg is like blasphemy for me. But I stand by when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But Ben Davies was literally being the Højbjerg at Stamford Bridge. He really, really was. And I gave him a huge amount of respect for that.
Well, he has to be. He's the most experienced player in the squad, isn't he, apart from Hugo?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean just because he's the most experienced, he's going to do it.
Fair enough.
So that's the thing. I completely get where you're coming from, Simon. I really do. But he showed me an attribute to him that I didn't know was there on Wednesday. That's one thing I will say. In Ben Davies' rejuvenation, let's say, he certainly did show some kind of some attributes that I didn't know were there.
Yeah, but it's just my point about Ben Davies is just we need a proper someone at the back who's really gonna organise everyone and communicate with everyone. I'm sure Ben Davies is he's been in the game at Tottenham for many years now, right? I'm sure he's very comfortable taking a bit more of a leadership role, especially when Dyer's out and he's the most experienced player at the back. I'm not saying that. But is he good at it? Can he really take that leading role and organise the defence and get us solid and make us hard to break down and stuff like that? That is we don't know. With that I'm doubtful of. And we were all over the shop at the back against Chelsea. We were all over the shop.
No, Simeon, on that you're right. But again, you got to look at it, and it's all we've got.
Agreed, and that's why I'm worried.
Mate, listen, I mean, I've been worried. As you know, I've been worried for day 7. We're here at day 11. I'm actually sending Spurs a tweet every single morning and every single night, and I'm using the Jose manager, same manager, different players, and I'm just doing at Spurs official every day. We don't sign anyone. Same message, different GIF, and I'm sending it to him every morning, every evening, just for a bit of fun. But it's where we are, mate. It's where we are. Listen, Davies, like if Dyer was to get an injury and be out for a considerable amount of time, or Kane and Lloris, that's where we'd be going. That's where we'd be going, and it's concerning. We need leaders, we need great mentality, we need great attitudes in this squad, and unfortunately, when you look on that aspect as opposed to what they could do on the pitch, we are lacking severely.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. But, hopefully looks like Reguilon's probably going to come back into the team. Chelsea have a lot of injuries in the wide areas. So maybe, I know we didn't get a lot of joy there last week due to Matt Doherty probably playing at left wing back. But maybe that's somewhere we can get a bit more joy this time. In terms of lineup wise, would you beef up the central midfield areas? Would you maybe consider starting Gil in a front 3 or Lo Celso in a front 3, or would you go with the 3 in the middle? Put maybe a Winks in there with Skip and Højbjerg.
So do you know what? I think in this game, and I'm going to go bold, as if I was a manager, who'd have thought? I think we have to attack. So you only use one of Skip and Højbjerg.
Alongside.
You use one of Skip and Højbjerg. And then you get on, and I still believe, like Ben and I said at the first leg, we need to go 3. If they're going 3, we need to match them up in case it's going to happen again. We need to stay three in midfield and match them up. But rather than having 2, a Højbjerg and a Skip, I'd probably go for a Skip. And then I don't know who the attacking 2 would be, but we definitely need some extra creativity in there because we saw how poor it was on.
I think we only got 2 options, Brian. We've only got Kane and Lucas.
There we go.
Yeah,
It's all right.
unless you want to play Gil there.
Well, it looks like we might have to, mate. We've only got 20 days to sort that part out. But yeah, I've just seen a great comment from a great supporter, Chris Agarbar, which has basically said, Ben, you can't go to the bar and I can't go to the toilet at games.
To be honest, if you go to the toilet, it's fine because you miss Spurs goals. I miss the opposition's goals. I mean, you keep going to the toilet.
We'll put it to the test. If we go 1-0 down, I'll go sit on the Carsey for like 90 minutes and then see what happens. If that's what I have to do to get a Spurs win, then so be it.
100%. 100%. What's your score prediction tomorrow?
All right, so I'm going to have to do 2 for obvious reasons. You know why. I'm going to go with certain Bob Spur, just because I promised to do it every time until he wakes up. So 4-1 Tottenham. I don't know why, but my heart is saying this is going to penalties.
2-0.
You think 2-0 or win by 2 goals and it's going to go penalties?
Yeah.
You know, go straight to penalties, no extra time.
Yep.
And no away goals.
Yep. So I've got a feeling it's going to go to penalties. Hopefully we get.
You know what? If you offer me a penalty shootout right now, I'd take it. 100%. 100%, I'll take it.
Beat him last year in a penalty shootout in this tournament.
Then we lost the year before.
And we lost the year before,
If it goes to the penalty shootout as well, I'd rather, obviously, with the penalty shootout being our home ground, you've got to fancy us, especially if we win the toss and it comes down to the south stand.
Yeah.
Then you've got to hope so, because I imagine. I mean, I've never been to a Carabao Cup semi-final or a semi-final at the new stadium, so I don't know how much. I mean, Chelsea get the same amount as we got at Chelsea, right?
Yeah, I assume so.
So is it? I can't remember. Is that kind of average, or it's a bit more than what a normal Premier League?
I actually think they're going to get more because we've got a bigger stadium. So I think they get like what is it?
Oh, yeah, percentage of the
10%,
percentage, yeah.
10%, no?
It's 10%. Yeah, I think it is.
6,000. That is.
They're going to have 6,000. Okay, yeah. So
how many did we have at the bridge?
We had 4,000 at the bridge, didn't we?
Yeah.
There you go.
So there we go. But yeah, let's just hope. We
haven't beaten them in the new stadium.
Only in that penalty shootout.
And no one was there to celebrate it.
Yeah.
True.
But guys, yeah, listen. What? I'll message you later on. But am I coming to meet you at studio of yours or Jake's studio?
Whatever you prefer, mate. Whatever you prefer.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll message you. I've got a couple of bits to do, and then when I'm free, I'll let you know, and I'll see where you boys are at.
All right.
We'll see you
soon,
then, boys.
Brian. Nice one, Brian. Good to see you, mate.
Very soon. Love to all the We Are Tottenham TV army. And as always, Levy out.
See you later, Brian. We've got a comment here from Big Boy Boxing saying Sim woke up and chose violence today. He must be getting ready for his Carl Patrick Vineyard boxing match.
I'm more than ready for it. Definitely ready for Carl. What do you mean I chose violence?
You definitely woke up and chose violence today.
Well, why?
Every so often you wake up in these kind of moods and choose violence.
What mood am I in? I'm not in a mood. I'm just giving my honest opinion.
Let's get Charlie THFC. I'm going to pop down for a sec.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Charlie, you all right? Long time no see. How you been, man?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Just getting ready for the big game tomorrow and just trying to find some ways that we might actually win this game tomorrow. It's very difficult. Could you help me with that, or what do you reckon?
It's difficult even from my end as well. Like, you saw just the way we played in that away game, the way we just seem inept at creating anything. It's just been a massive problem, really. 2-0, I think, was generous, I'd say. I think it definitely could have been a lot more, and we're lucky we still kind of have 1% hope, to be honest. But without Son, it's going to be extremely tough. Maybe even Dyer as well. He could be out as well, as you said. So it's definitely an uphill task. However, we have seen very strange things happen in football, as we know. So I guess that's probably the most positive thing I can kind of say about that it's 90 minutes. If we get one goal early, I guess that will kind of get the crowd up, get the players up. However, I think, like you said earlier on in the stream, if we concede an early goal, then I think we're in massive trouble. Massive trouble. And you look at the way kind of the mentality problems in this squad, the heads could easily drop if they kind of go 1-0 up, Chelsea. So, look, it's definitely an uphill task, but if anyone can do it, it's Conte. However, let's see if the players kind of get the same energy from the crowd. And yeah, I guess we'll see. But I'm not holding my breath. That's for sure.
How do you approach a game like from a tactical perspective? Do you go, second half against Chelsea, we moved to a 4 at the back, and we seem to, play a lot better when we did that, but obviously Chelsea moved back to a 5 and that complicated things. But we could play 3 up front, but with no Son and no Bergwijn, you're relying on one of Gil or maybe Lo Celso to fill that role. Or do you go with maybe 3 in the central midfield? And if you do that, are you playing Skip, Højbjerg and Winks? Do you put Lo Celso in centre mid? How do you line up tomorrow?
I think purely based on the state we're in and just the kind of like the absence as well. I think you've got to go for the 3 in midfield, because you see, and I feel you see the way we got overrun in the first leg, and I feel this is a common theme against Chelsea. I don't know what you guys think, but every time we play Chelsea, this happens. It's always Chelsea, especially away from home. We go, even like in the Mind Series game, I remember it happened in the summer. Like, we go there, we get absolutely just overrun by bloody Saul as well, who's been a disaster this season. But I think I'll definitely go for the 3 in midfield, because I don't think we have the capabilities of playing kind of a front 3, which will be capable really, with kind of the massive lack of options and also kind of lack of quality as well in there. So I think you have to go in the 3 in midfield, try and find a way to kind of create more, which has just been a complete inept really this season. And yeah, I think that's definitely probably the best way to go for the 3 in midfield.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. I think we need to clock up those areas, and I actually think I'm hoping anyway, on the wing, on the wide areas, we could get more joy in this leg than we did last leg, because we had Matt Doherty there on the left hand side. He wasn't really causing much threat, but with Reguilon set to come back in, hopefully he can be one to exploit what could be a problem area for Chelsea, seeing as they got Azpilicueta and Reece James both out injured.
Yeah, let's hope so, because Doherty was just a disaster, like he pretty much has been every game since we signed him. Another complete failure from the incompetence running the club. But anyway, I think having Reguilon back will be a big boost for us. We definitely need, we're playing the 3-5-2. You need your wing backs to kind of get up and exploit the wide areas, because if they're not, you kind of just leave yourself empty in those wide areas without your wing backs kind of getting up in that formation. So I think Emerson as well, he has to just sort out the crossing, because with him, I don't think he's been bad at all. I think he has been kind of unfairly criticised sometimes. I don't think he's been that level of terrible. However, I think I can understand why people get frustrated, because the crossing sometimes it's just woeful, to be fair. But I think we mustn't forget he's young. He's 22. He's come from La Liga, straight into a new team, probably doesn't speak any English either. So I think we've got to bide our time a bit with Emerson. Obviously, we know we need competition for him. We'll see what happens with Adama and stuff. But I do know that we need, as you guys were saying, we need loads of signings. Obviously, we're not going to fix everything this month in January, but I kind of agree with Ben's thinking, at least bare minimum 2 or 3 even for me, like 2 with 1 pre-contract or something, because it just shows you the summer window, it's kind of coming back to kind of bite us in a way. Didn't do anywhere near enough in that window, and obviously we need, as Brian said before, we need someone, a number 10 who can come in and create chances, because we just seem to be inept at doing that. For me, it's the biggest problem. It really is the biggest problem in our squad. We just can't seem to create chances ever. And also obviously the striker situation. With Son already injured, we're a Harry Kane injury away from our season kind of potentially on the verge of collapse in a way, because we saw what happens when you take Kane and Son out of the team, we can't score. We saw what happened before, that lockdown season where that happened, and we just literally could not hit a barn door. And speaking of strikers, if we let Vlahovic go to Arsenal, they have absolute blood on their hands. I'm telling you, if we let Vlahovic go there, that will just be extremely
but Charlie,
difficult.
can we even compete? I mean, the rumours are £60 million plus 300 grand a week.
Oh, really? Really? Wow. I mean, he's asking for 300 grand a week when he's kind of not really been 100% proven. Like, he's had 1.5 good seasons. So
Yeah.
if that's true, that's unbelievable. I didn't know about that. So, but it's just if he ends up at Arsenal, it's just like we've been linked with this guy for like a lot longer than they have, and I don't see. I don't.
Just like Tomiyasu.
Yeah. Although my thoughts on him are, I think whatever you say about Emerson Tomiyasu, I think Emerson was the better option considering we have Conte now, because if we had got Tomiyasu instead, we'd be having to play Doherty every week at right wing back. So that's the way I look at that one. So yeah, we've got to hurry up with the window. Quite simply, if they don't back Conte, then nothing is ever going to change until they sell the club, the ownership. So yeah, I guess it's over to them now. The ball's in their court completely, and we'll see starting with this month how serious they are at being kind of a competitive club in the game. And obviously the summer we'll definitely know a lot more, that's for sure.
We brought you reports about Franck Kessie, apparently Spurs leading the race in terms of a pre-contract. Is he one that you'd definitely be looking to bring in?
Yeah, for sure. Kessie, I've seen him play quite a bit. Obviously in the Champions League with Milan. I know they're out now, but I've seen him play in Serie A as well. I think, yeah, he's definitely that kind of player that we need in there, because you look at Højbjerg recently. He just his kind of limitations, I'd say, might have been exposed. That's kind of the feeling I get with him. Like, obviously he's definitely a player you want in your squad, but I feel like there are limitations in his game, because when we got him, it was kind of like we hadn't had a defensive midfielder for so long that just having one there kind of was just a completely new thing for us in a way. That's kind of obviously definitely not a bad player, that's for sure. I'm not saying that, but I think there are limitations in his game which we may not have noticed kind of straight away. And I think bringing in someone like Kessie is definitely one of the best deals out there that we can definitely do, considering he has 6 months left. As soon as he gets signed up, his value like quadruples or something. We mustn't forget as well. So, yeah, he's. I'm not sure how old he is. Do you guys recall how old he is?
24. 24, yeah.
24, yeah. So again, like good age.
25, sorry.
25, yeah. So still going into kind of his prime. I remember there was one game with him against, I think it was Man United in Europa League last season, where I thought he was brilliant that day. So yeah, if he was to come in, definitely a massive upgrade on the midfield, because I think the midfield is definitely a big problem, that's for sure. So having as well as another defensive option in there is definitely not going to hurt us, that's for sure.
How up on the priority list is he for you?
I think for me, the first priority, it has to be a number 10, because we cannot carry on in a situation where we're kind of scraping 1-0 wins against like Watford, where most weeks they're kind of conceding 4. Like, that way isn't sustainable throughout a whole season. There'll be times where we kind of don't get that goal at the end of games, and there'll be a lot of like kind of these kind of draws and stuff. So I think the number 10 is definitely number 1. I think you put Kessie around second or third, because I think the right wing back is also something we definitely should be looking at. For me, when you look at the right wing backs, I think whether obviously probably not now in January, but come the summer, I think we have to go all out for Lamptey. Despite his injury problems recently, I think he's every time I've seen him play, I think he's been terrific for Brighton. I really do. And so yeah, I think Kessie, if there's a deal to be done there, if he's open to it, as you guys were discussing in January, I think I'd go for it right now. So we kind of get him before all that competition comes in, all the kind of loads of other clubs and stuff. So with Kessie, I think it's one you've just got to do as soon as possible to kind of get him snapped up before a lot more competition comes in.
Yeah, and on the right back situation, I mean, you mentioned Lamptey, but, you know, we're heavily linked with Adama Traore. It's been widely reported that he is supposedly coming in for the right wing-back role. Is that something you don't agree with then?
See, with Adama, it's a strange one for me, because obviously these stories have been around for a long time, and like I've kind of been pretty much split down the middle with Adama, because one side of me is thinking like, yeah, his kind of physique and his just pure power and pace is kind of it. I think it could be suited to that right wing back role, and obviously his versatility is always important to have a player like that in your squad. We've seen as well, like he can do a job down the middle, where personally I think that's where he's best, kind of down the middle, because he can kind of just pick up the ball from deep and just sprint all the way through teams. But I think with him, as we all know, his final ball, I think, like, quite simply, I think it's woeful, to be honest, his final ball. Like, for a player of his kind of uniqueness and physique and pure just power and the way he causes chaos, I think he should be doing a lot better with kind of the player he is. And I think he'll be kind of very disappointed with kind of the way he's gone, really, because if he had a final ball, he'd be one of the best players in the world. He really would, if he could just get that kind of final thing right. So for me, if we can get him at the price that is being talked about, like 20 odd million, I think it's a deal you have to do, because think about it like this: the very worst case scenario with Adama is we have just an incredible kind of impact sub, like a super sub that could just come on and cause chaos against tiring legs. So I think if that's the worst case scenario, a price of 20 million, I think it's a good deal that you might as well take a punt on. Because obviously, as we know, if we're going to kind of get anything out of this season, we need kind of additions now. We can't kind of afford to wait for the summer for everything. We have to start now. So I think Adama at 20 million, I think you've got to bring him in. So yeah, I think it's something I'll definitely do. But if anyone's going to fix the end product, I guess it's Conte, I guess. So
yeah,
fingers crossed.
There was a moment in time, I think it was a couple of years ago, where everyone thought his end product had dramatically improved. I think he got 10 assists in that Premier League season. I think he got 6 or 7 goals. I think that was under Nuno. But, you know, it shows he's got it in him, surely.
Oh, I think he's always had it in him. I think, because you just look at just the pure kind of chaos he causes. I think if he, as I said again, like if he could shoot and cross like on a regular basis, he'd be one of the best players in the world. And he just hasn't done that consistently. But you're right. There was that season, I think it was where he scored 2 at the Etihad, if I'm right, that season. I think he might have played up front that game, in fact, which was quite interesting. So, yeah, and so I think if we can bring him in, I think it's definitely worth it. At a price of 20 million, it's worth it. I wouldn't pay kind of the fee that was being spoken about in the summer, because if you're talking like 50 odd million, I think you can get a player which will guarantee you kind of more goals and assists and stuff. But for 20 million for Adama, I think it's worth it for sure. And look, fingers crossed Conte can kind of get that out of him on a regular basis, because if so, I think we've definitely got a top player on our hands if he can get that out of him for sure. But as well with the Bergwijn kind of links to Ajax, I think Adama can't be the direct replacement for Bergwijn. He can't, because we need, in that sense, you're kind of taking away a player that can't score, and you're adding another player which can't score at the moment anyway. It just doesn't really make sense to me. And if they're speaking about him playing as a right wing back, then why would he be the replacement of Bergwijn? It just doesn't add up to me. It really doesn't. However, unfortunately, you can't write anything off with kind of the people that run our club. But as I keep saying, we'll see just how serious they are. They've got in Conte. That's only half the job done. They need to complete the other half, which is to pretty much do something they haven't done for 20 odd years, which is actually back a manager to a level of 100%, really. So yeah. I guess January and obviously the summer, we'll see just how serious they are, really.
All right, Charlie.
Nice one, Charlie. Good to see you, man.
Your views.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hopefully we won't have to be forced to see each other at any ENIC out events by the end of the month.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Let's hope. And that's all we can do as fans, I guess. All we can do is hope and pray that things get better, really.
Are you panicking just yet?
Panicking for the window? The thing that panics me is that it's been a third of the window. Like, when you think about it, 1 out of 3, it's like... it's kind of getting a bit worrying at the moment, but I think when it gets to halfway, like which is around obviously the 15th or so. If it's still the same as it is now, where there's kind of no concrete kind of information that we're getting, then I think we should start worrying. If it's halfway, like we might not have signed anyone halfway, but if there's kind of concrete links that we're actually trying to do something, then that will kind of calm us down a bit. However, if it's kind of like it is now, the exact same situation a week later, then I think that's when I'd be more concerned. That's for sure.
All right. Charlie, big up yourself. We'll speak to you very soon.
Nice one, Charlie.
Thanks, guys. See you guys soon. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Super chat here from Joshua Bonner saying, problem is we're playing a wing-back system with an awful right wing-back. Emerson is a prospect backup at best. I would rather have Lucas at right wing-back with his pace and dribbling.
I think we need Lucas further, more centrally up the pitch, to be fair. But I think Emerson is definitely one that splits a lot of opinion at the moment.
Yeah, look, I understand people's reservations. I just think it's got to be a bit. I think for a young wing back who's come in for, I don't think he's done terribly. I really don't. I think people might be underestimating him a bit. But yeah, but he does. There's obviously a lot of things he needs to improve, but he's still quite raw.
Yeah, he's extremely raw. I don't know if you saw, he was doing the crossing drills in training. Hopefully it'll stand him in good stead because, we just need better delivery in the box, to be honest. And I think we'd be getting a lot more goals if we did have that better delivery into the box. But let's bring on Mikey. You right, Mikey?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Hello?
Mikey?
Have we crashed? No, we're there.
No,
He's crashed.
All right, Mikey, I think you've crashed. If you want to try reconnect, but I think you are the last guest of the show. Is he back in? Mikey?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
We can hear you
fine.
now, yeah.
What happened? Sorry, I think my Wi-Fi dropped out for a second.
Yeah.
Fucking
Obviously,
phone.
big game tomorrow night at Tottenham Stadium. Can we do it tomorrow?
No. No, we can, but we won't. There's a difference. We can do it, but we won't. I don't mean to be. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. Brian believes it will go to penalties, and fair play to him. His view is always. I'm not a pessimist. Always his view is always appreciated. But I can't see us turning it around, especially with Sonny out. We can't, that end product that he can produce. I know he has been producing it recently. Like Kane and Lucas, yeah, they can do it against Morecambe from the third tier, but we're doing it against the Champions League winning Chelsea team, albeit a bit depleted, but we're missing our most key player and Heung-min Son. That's a little joke about Eric Dyer, of course, but I think
I actually think Dyer is more important tomorrow than Son.
yeah, because with Son you can replace him with like a Bergwijn or a Hill, but with Eric Dyer there really is no replacing that sort of scent. I mean, the only one who can replace him is Romero, and he's out as well. So yeah, we're missing our two best defenders, and sorry, and I'm not sure whether or not Dyer will play because obviously he was reported to have COVID and then tried to come back, and he hasn't come back yet, and I think it'd be too much too soon to throw him in the deep end against Chelsea with a 2-0 deficit to overcome. And I think if Conte's thinking practically he'll rest him for the derby, I think that's what Conte will try and do and get him back to fitness in the Thursday, Friday training sessions and get him fit for the derby. But I'm not sure that we can overcome it, especially at the Spurs stadium, because we've done it before. The Ajax game has obviously lived long in the memory, and the Man City game. But this is Chelsea. We don't get results against them. We never have. Like we were beating them in a semi-final a couple of years back, and they just stormed past us to beat us 3-1 or something. We just can't seem to do it against Chelsea. Like I'd say, Chelsea and Liverpool are the two teams that whenever I come up against, I always say, well, there's no result because we've beat them twice. Once was on penalties and once was in a 3-1. I can't see us winning this one. I'd love for us to, but Maybe I'm basing it off the performance against Morecambe, but we don't
How,
have.
how would
enough.
you line up though to try and get the best out of the players we have available? How would you see Tottenham line up? You know, we went with a back four in the second half, in the second last week, in the second leg, and that kind of improved us. But maybe we go with a three in the centre mid, or do you stick with the same formation and bring in maybe a Gil in the forward line? How would you like to see us line up?
I don't know. I'm not. I've given up trying to predict the lineups anymore because it's. Sorry if I seem a bit like down this morning. I'm just thinking about
Tomorrow.
The results tomorrow,
Never
yeah.
mind predicting the lineup then, Mikey. What do you want to see?
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
Before Sunday, I would have said Ndombele, maybe a Lo Celso or a Dele Alli to try and give us more attacking impetus. But after that shit show, I don't really know who I'd start. Maybe Harry Winks deserves a shot, but Winks, Højbjerg, and Skip is a very negative midfield. It's a very defensive, dynamic trio. You don't have one that can push forward. There's reports coming out this morning that Lo Celso's departure from Spurs is imminent. So
Linking him to Atletico Madrid, apparently.
yeah. So, well, if he goes to Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone's going to turn him into either one of the best box-to-box midfielders, or he's going to ruin him. So if he's not already ruined. So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, I can't see what midfield lineup we play to defeat theirs, because is Kante fit?
No, he's not fit. No.
Okay, well, there's 50% hope restored.
50%. That's a lot.
Yeah, because he's the key player for Chelsea. He always has been. With him in the midfield, you can't get past them. Like when
He didn't play
plays,
last week.
Yeah, as I'd say, we didn't get past them last week.
Yeah, but that was because we were utterly shit. When he plays, they're a different team. I think. I mean, it's a good thing that he's out. Obviously, speedy recovery. You know, you never want to see a player get injured. Speedy recovery to whoever gets injured, but it's good timing that Kante's out. But I think even who have they got out? So who are their injuries?
Reece James, Azpilicueta, Ben Chilwell, N'Golo Kante. Off the top of my head, I don't remember too many more.
All right, so
apparently Lewis said Silva's back.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
so
tell you
Mount,
now. I've got their
Jorginho,
injuries here. Azpilicueta,
Mendy's not there. Yeah.
Azpilicueta, Kante, James, Chalobah, Mendy, and Chilwell all out.
Okay, so they're probably going to have like Mount, Kovacic, and Jorginho, which is nice lacking midfield. It's better than ours, that's for sure. Oof. Yeah. So
Azpilicueta's going to play.
Is he?
He said he's fine. He's only a bit of cramp.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so they've got Azpilicueta back, so their captain's playing, so that's a source of belief.
And a right wing back. So
yeah, so I think we will probably end up. I'd love to. I don't see Chelsea winning. I think maybe a 1-0 for us or a 1-1, but I don't see us getting the 2-goal cushion that we need, because any 2-goal cushion we have, regardless of what they score, it will go to penalties, right? If we just get a 2-goal cushion at the end, it will go to penalties. So if it's like 4-2 as a random result, it'll be 4 for an aggregate. So I can't see us getting a 2-goal cushion against this Chelsea side and actually being able to keep it. We could go 2-0 up, but you saw what happened with Liverpool. They went 2-0 up, and it's Liverpool, and Chelsea just fought back. It took a moment of magic, and well, Tottenham's luck is never been good, and even if we go 3-0 up, we've been caught from 3-0 up many a time over the past year. Just to mention the West Ham, the Zagreb game, etc. So even if we get a lead, I can't see us being able to hold it, because we can't hold leads to save our life against top teams. So, yeah, like even with the Liverpool game, we took a 1-0 lead, we went 2-1 down before clawing it back to 2-2.
Sorry, Mikey, but there's been a bit of news coming out from Ali Gold. And he says apparently he's understood that Spurs have sounded out Jesse Lingard's camp about a potential move to North London.
Oh, for fuck's
apparently to replace Steven Bergwijn. What'd you make out of that?
When we were linked with him in the summer, even after his loan move to West Ham, I couldn't get the image of Dele Alli 2.0 out of my head. because Lingard had the same story. You know, that not quite as proficient as Dele was, but he was really good for a top four regular finisher. His performances started to decline with the team starting to decline, and not saying that they're linked, but like Jesse Lingard is a very enigmatic player. Yeah, he'd bring a bit of buzz to the dressing room, but we have characters like Son, Lucas Moura, Reggie, etc. He'd be a good fit, but we've already got 3 players, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Dele Alli, all playing in the same position, all on wages that don't befit their talent, that don't befit the quality that they produce. And I can't see Lingard being the option to. I mean, obviously we're so depleted in those areas that any addition is welcome. But if we signed Lingard, I wouldn't immediately shun the owners and say, "How could you sign such a shit player?" Like, we need reinforcements there. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Jesse Lingard. When you're looking at Jesse Lingard to be a replacement for one of your front 3, it's not looking like a very good picture. But that's no disrespect to Lingard. I think he's a brilliant player on his day, but his day never comes around anymore. So I'm not really sure.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see how this one plays out. But what's your score prediction tomorrow?
I think it's. I don't think Chelsea will set up to go all guns blazing because they know they have the advantage and they're playing a Tottenham team who are depleted. So I don't think Chelsea are going to be as aggressive as they were in the first leg, trying to push us back all the time, leaving space open behind them, even though, you know, without Son, we've got Kane and Lucas Moura up front, so we might play a 3-5-2. There's other reports coming through actually that Ndombele is personally unhappy at Spurs, and he really, really wants to leave the club.
Surprise. So,
yeah, I don't see, if Ndombele is unhappy, I don't see him playing after Dele Alli's performance. I don't see, out of all the 3, maybe Lo Celso is the most likely to start because he was. Like, I looked at the SofaScore ratings. Ndombele got a 6.0, Dele got a 6.5, and Lo Celso got a 7, I think. So if any of those 3 sort of attacking midfield options were going to start, it would probably be Lo Celso. But I'd actually love to see Bryan Hill start in an attacking midfield without having to like track back. I'd love to see Bryan Hill start, not out wide where he can cut in, because I think his dribbling skill is amazing, but he hasn't got the crossing to match yet. Obviously, any crosser is wanted, but I think if Bryan Hill could maybe trial a game as a centre attacking mid, I'd like to see that happen. But yeah, like I don't see Lingard as being an upgrade on who we have now, and I don't have.
All right.
I don't have.
All right, Mikey.
But yeah.
Thanks for coming on today, my brother, and we'll speak to you very soon.
That's what, Mikey.
All right, well, let's talk about this news. Let's talk about this news from Ali Gold. Ali Gold understands Spurs have sounded out Jesse Lingard's camp about a potential move to North London. And he's also put some thoughts about potentially Stephen Bergwijn exit in his article as well. But on the face of things, what's your opinions on Jesse Lingard, and would you accept him at Spurs?
I've shit on Lingard quite a lot in the past, especially when he was going through his bad form at Man United a few years ago. Obviously, last year at West Ham, he had a fantastic loan spell for 6 months. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, I must say. He very nearly made the Euro squad. He was very unlucky to miss out on that based on his amazing form. And it made people think, you know, maybe there's still life in Lingard's career. He's not young anymore. I think, 29 now, is he?
Yeah,
he's getting
28.
Yeah. So he's not young, but he showed at West Ham he's still got a lot of potential. And actually this season at Man United, even though he's not been a first choice or a starter that often, whenever I've seen him play, he's actually been quite good. I've noticed, but he just hasn't been able to nail down a spot. Rangnick hasn't fancied him at all. I don't think he's featured at all under Rangnick, has he? So shows how he's valued at Man United. Look, if he's a cheap stopgap deal now, I find it hard to get excited about it, but on the face of it, it is a fairly smart move, I guess. He's versatile. He can play in a few positions. He would, if we brought him and Adama in, then all of a sudden you do have a replacement for Bergwijn, and you have a player who has shown in the last year at least that he can score goals at this level still. You got what, eight or nine in the second half of last season?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So he scored quite a few. So 6 months left on his deal. See, this is a different one when it comes to signing him now as opposed to later, because whereas with Kessie, he's still a valuable member of the Milan squad. It's going to be harder to prize him away right now, and he might be less willing to go right now because there might be more offers. With Lingard, it's a choice between coming now or sitting on the bench for 6 months, whereas Kessie's going to be playing football. So that would be more easier to convince and easier to come now than someone like Kessie would. So he could be a cheap deal we could get now.
Does he get a guaranteed starting spot in our squad?
No, definitely not. But he does nowhere near guaranteed. But he can play. He can play in a 3 in the midfield. He can play in a 3 up top. He can play on the left or the right.
3 in midfield.
No, but he can play. I don't want him there, but he can. But he's versatile. He can play there. For example, I don't want Delhi there, but he can play there. You know what I mean? So I think on the face of it, it's a smart move. Could be cheap, but I would rather look for other players first, if possible. But I guess if it's a cheap, I guess I'm not going to be against it. According to Samuel Luckhurst, though, who's just talked about it, he said sources close to Lingard do not expect him to leave this January. So that's what he's saying.
For one, I wouldn't want to sign him this January. I'd give him a shot at a loan move or something like that. But to sign him, I'm not too sure about that. I think we need to be setting our sights a bit higher than Jesse Lingard. And yes, Jesse Lingard came in for West Ham last year and did well for a certain amount of games, but I still felt he tailed off towards the end of the season last year.
Towards the end, he did for the last few games. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, maybe even more than a couple of games. But look, Jesse Lingard is a good player. There's no two ways about it. But for what we're trying to achieve, top 4 and everything like that, to get back into the Champions League, I just feel like we just probably should be setting our sights a bit higher.
I completely agree.
But for a loan move from now to the end of the season, I think we should do that if that's the case.
Loan move, yeah. Would United agree to a loan move? Why would they give us to him for free? Basically, there's no, unless it's a significant loan fee. They'd probably want some sort of money.
Yeah,
probably as a permanent.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense for them to loan, because otherwise might as well just keep him for an option for 6 months for them, because we're challenging them for the top 4.
Yeah.
So
obviously, even if it is a loan deal, you can't put an option in there because his
contract
runs out in 6 months.
So it kind of have to be a permanent now, or we can't pre-contract. He's not a foreign player, so it's or wait. But I guess Ali Gold doesn't specifically say we want him now, does he? He says, if I read the article, it says Tottenham have made contact with Lingard's representatives over a potential move to North London. The 29-year-old is out of contract and someone has struggled for regular game time this season. The Hammers have been linked with trying to bring in England's international back to the London zone. However, Football London understand that Spurs have also sounded out Lingard's camp over potential move. His versatility means he can play on either flank or attacking midfield, or even as a striker to support. No, don't even try and make him a striker. He would bolster Tottenham's homegrown British quota. That's a good point. Homegrown goes under the radar. We do need homegrown, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Lingard will be available for nothing in the summer, but it remains to be seen whether Spurs can move for him this month if United would be willing to sell to a top 4 rival.
That's the thing, because I think it was different. Last year, Man United were pretty much concealed in that top 4. West Ham were fighting for it, but there were no real danger to Man United last season. This year, we're actually a danger to Man United in terms of the top 4 fight. So can you see them letting him go to us? I can't really see it, to be honest.
I actually can.
In what? Why?
Because they don't use him at all. He's a player who's come through their account. It's a bit like how when what's his name? When Chelsea sold Cech to Arsenal. It's a bit like that. Because he's been there for so long, there's an element of respect there. And if that's what Lingard wants with 6 months left for a few million, they'll probably let him happen because they know he's leaving on a free anyway in the summer. Obviously, if he's a player who they use or anything like that, they might have a difference of opinion. But because he's they don't really use him. And they might see as a little bit of an opportunity to get a bit of money, and I can see them selling for a bit of money.
I mean, the only reason I say they won't do it is just because Spurs and United at the moment, as the league table sits, probably got as much chance as each other finishing in the top 4.
Correct.
In terms of points and stuff like that. So that's the only reason why I say they wouldn't do it, just because of their chances of top 4 this season. And if Jesse Lingard comes, maybe it doesn't dramatically increase our chances of getting top 4, but it definitely gives us more of a chance than now.
I'd probably rather not, but let's say Lingard really wants to move and no one else is in for him,
Yeah.
I could see him agreeing to it.
Yeah, potentially. But they would probably push for the move more to, like, let's say if Newcastle come in or West Ham come in or something like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised the West Ham move hasn't materialised. But I also get to be thinking, why is it not materialised?
Yeah.
Why have West Ham, because obviously he had a great time there, and apparently he's willing to go back there. So why do they not want him? Is the money not right? Like, why did that not happen? It's very strange. That's got a bit.
Maybe they're holding out to the end of his contract or something. I don't know.
Don't know, but it puts a few doubts in my mind. Like, surely if he was that good and they were that sure about him, that's an easy deal to do.
Yes, he was that good. He really was that good last season. He was one of the best players in the Premier League for that period.
Yeah, he was. No, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. But obviously they saw him day to day, right? They got to see him on training and everything. They could see him in and out. So maybe
something happened when he did tail off at the end of the season.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking it was just a patch of form and that was it. It wasn't exactly like he's that good. Maybe that's what they think, and because they see him day to day, they can know that. Whereas we're here thinking he's that good because we just see him on the pitch, let alone everything else. So I don't know. It's because surely if that form, right? If they were convinced that form represents how good he is, surely it would be a no-brainer. Just get him in if he's that good, and then you have him, and that deal could be done. But for something that tells me that deal not being done is I don't know, something's there.
I know. I kind of share your feelings on that one, but I've got a feeling that from now until the end of this window, you might hear more about West Ham and Jesse Lingard.
The thing is, as well, when it comes to here, when it's Samuel Luckhurst saying sources close to Lingard do not expect him to leave in January, I kind of feel like it's only worth it if we get him now. Do I want him on a free in the summer? I know, I'd rather
better targets in the summer, don't you?
He's kind of valuable in the short term. If Bergwijn goes, and then we can get him in, and he's kind of a short-term replacement, and then see how he does for 6 months on a maybe a 3-year deal, and whatever. If it doesn't work out, we can sell him. Then it works out. But when it gets to the summer, I know he's on a free, but I'd rather us really go for a proper target, because I know January is difficult, so it makes more sense to come in now. But to wait 6 months for getting him in, I wouldn't want him on a free in the summer, because all of a sudden you're thinking all of a sudden it's a transfer where you're using up a place that you could have gone and signed someone maybe better. Whereas right now, January is difficult, so I understand you can't always get what you want in January, so maybe he's a good option.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that's exactly what I kind of meant, what I was saying before.
The problem is that you can't really loan him. That's the problem. You kind of have to buy him.
Yeah, unless you buy him on a short-term contract or something, but can't really see that happening either. I really can't see that happening.
Oh, it says they're claiming that have found out Lingard's camp over potential move in the summer, but that's not what the article said. I read the article. That's not what it said, is it?
No.
So that's what Tottenham Tears are saying. I don't know. That's not what.
Maybe
unless he's edited
from that somewhere.
Has he edited it? Let's see.
But anyway, look, the situation is there's no real situation. Spurs are making contact over Lingard. Tottenham Tears.
Oh yeah, here we go. Should stress, it says in the piece that it's currently with regard to a summer move. January move unlikely at this moment for Lingard as he becomes a free agent in the summer. So that's hard for me to get excited about.
To be honest, though, if Conte thinks he can get something out of Lingard, then I'm all for it. I really am all for it.
I'm not against. I'm not.
Conte thinks he can get something out of him.
I'm not against the deal, but if we're selling if we're selling Bergwijn, we should get him now.
Yeah.
This one, it makes more sense than Kessie to push to spend a little, get him now.
To be honest, I think about that with everyone. To be honest, if we want him, then just get him now. That's just how I feel about things.
It looks like might be one looking for the summer.
We'll have to see how it plays out. At the moment, the news is that Jesse Lingard Spurs have made contact apparently with Jesse Lingard's camp for a move in the summer. His contract is up in the summer. I want to know all your opinions about Jesse Lingard coming to Spurs. Me personally, I would like to see him from now to the end of the season, but further than that, I'm not too sure. But like I said, if Antonio Conte singles him out and thinks he can get a tune out of him and thinks he can consistently get good performances out of him, then I'm all for it. Let's be honest, he was, in the second half of the season last year, was one of the best players in the Premier League. He was.
Yeah,
so,
but we're talking about a summer move now, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to get excited about like a summer move for a free agent, Jesse Lingard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But look, at the end of the day, Conte does have previous for these kind of signings, doesn't he? Like 28, 29, 30 years old, Premier League experience kind of signing, and he gets them playing well.
It says here, according to the Evening Standard, Spurs reluctant to allow Bergwijn to leave until they've signed a replacement. Ajax are going to return with second offer. Tottenham want closer to 27 million.
So it's one in, one out, not one out, one in.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. That's good news, though, if that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe
right.
Lingard could be that guy.
All right, well, that is the news stories for you today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. The clips are coming your way very soon. Predicted lineup is coming your way very soon, and also the press conference as well. So stay tuned, and we also might have a very special interview for you later on as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.